What is?
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the He Say, She Say Singles Chat on YLCTV. I'm Jen. We have Dana, Lawrence, Elisha, and Dr. Shonda. So say hey, guys.
What's up? What's up?
Y'all doing?
What's up, family?
I'm good. I've missed you guys.
I know. Does it seem like it was especially longer this week, like from the other ones?
You think so?
I don't know.
Say that every week.
I don't know about this week. I do know that every day in the pandemic is as into 1,000 years. That is true. Every day. Every day is long.
So we're going to go ahead and share. Go ahead and let your single friends know that we are on for the He Says, She Says Singles Chat. Of course, we always want to honor our visionary leader and founder, the Elder Mark Moore Jr. We appreciate this space. We appreciate this space and this time to talk about all things singleness. So go ahead and share. I feel like, okay, I'm trying to, like, my head is in the words.
I know.
It's okay. Hey guys, go ahead and tell us where you're calling, where you're tuning in from. Go ahead and put that in the comments. We're going to start off with a little bit of this or that because the people of God seem to like that. So we'll go ahead and start there. Oh, you guys are coming in strong. What's up? What's up?
They missed us.
Oh, yeah, they
I think it's because we had revival last week. If y'all was not on
last week was crazy.
Like,
bananas.
Last week was
so
crazy.
good.
I feel like I should still be like, are we fasting? Like, is it consecration? Because
right.
The Lord
is so heavy.
Yes.
But what I would say about that is, you know, and we're not even attempting to, but this is who we are. I just want to appreciate all the other panelists on here. We really are young people that are really getting it for God. We're really, attacking things in our professions and really looking to be the best that we can be. But we are doing it in Jesus' name. And to see
in the name of Jesus.
In his name.
Huh.
I'm not starting nothing. I'm just saying, I appreciate you guys and the oil that is really on your lives. I really appreciate it. I count it an honor to be among you.
So go ahead and share. We're going to take 10 seconds to go ahead and share. Did y'all share? I didn't share yet.
I did.
No, sorry. I think
there's a couple of groups I can put this into.
I'm going to tell y'all this, though. When Jennifer played, I knew that was going to go up. Because if y'all been seeing her post lately, she's tapped in, okay?
Oh, she's been on it.
She's been tapped in. So I knew. I knew it was going to go up. I knew it.
But you know what? I have really just had, and I'm not even trying to be deep, but it's really been just a deeper hunger for God, for real. Like, I think a part of this pandemic and this quarantine season, it's like we thought that the year was lost or that y'all ain't had no vision. No, we're really seeing clearly. We're seeing who is who, we're seeing what's really important, and we're seeing what really matters. And I think that's really just where I've been at. Like, it starts with Jesus and it ends with Jesus, period. Like that's so sorry to be deep and spooky, but yes, go ahead and share. So we all share. We're going to start with this or that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this one is a food edition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Shonda, you bear with me. I know you're a little vegetarian, but just bear with me, okay? All right.
Alfredo ain't on here, is it?
Huh?
Alfredo ain't on here, is it?
Who is Alfredo?
There's a running joke online that we're not eating no more Alfredo.
Oh no, Alfredo is not on here. Okay. Hot sauce or gravy?
Hot sauce. It depends on what it is.
What you putting it on?
Right.
Yeah, it depends.
Mine is gravy. I hate hot sauce. It's disgusting.
Hey.
Really hate it. Like, why would you put that? Just season your food. Like, why would you ever need to put this sour red stuff on your food? That doesn't make any sense to me.
You got the wrong hot sauce.
Right. You gotta hand over your black card, Jennifer. Like, first of all.
I probably shouldn't have one. Very serious.
That's
I'm in agreement.
That's funny.
wow.
French
Wow.
toast or waffles? French
Toast.
toast or waffles?
I got waffles.
French toast.
I got waffles.
Toast.
Did I make it?
What you say?
Did I
if
make
you made it, which one you prefer to eat?
Which one you like to make,
Hey.
Lawrence?
If I made it, I'm going French toast. If somebody else made it, I'm gonna go safe on the waffles.
It depends on the restaurant for me.
Right.
But I think I like French toast better. Gum or mint?
Gum, 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 gum.
Gum.
Oh, I need to spit this out right now.
Gum or mint?
Gum.
Hey, real talk. Let me put y'all on, and this is
Okay.
something that I learned.
Okay.
I'm gonna go neither.
Okay.
Y'all remember those little strips that they used to have with the Listerine?
Yes. I love
Those things are
They're magic.
saving. They are so much. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those. Before I do anything, I'm doing those.
Hold up.
I
Okay.
didn't even know they still made those, but okay.
Thank you.
And you can go to any gas station and probably find a pack of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put us on legit.
Okay. So appetizers or dessert?
Dessert. Dessert as an appetizer.
Dana, you really live life by your own rules.
She really like both. She like whatever I want. Dessert first.
Dessert for appetizer.
Yeah. Anybody who goes out to eat with me knows that I order my dessert as an appetizer.
That's something else.
Yeah.
This is true. I gotta go apps though.
So this is a hard one. In the case of wings,
In the case.
is it flats or drums?
Both. Drums.
Doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter.
Oh really? Y'all don't be like lemon pepper
Drums.
on flats?
I don't do that.
Literally doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm a drums girl. I do not like flats. I think it's extra work, and nobody has time to pick that meat in between those bones. So therefore, I prefer to dip.
No one has time. Where are you going?
I just think drums.
It's only 10 of them. I got all the time. You know what I mean?
Some of them be like all flats.
She said, "Who has
vegan wings?"
Vegan wings.
Vegan wings. All right.
What do you use cauliflower with those?
Some people make them with cauliflower, but mine are like out of soy, and it has like a meat-like texture, so it's good.
Okay.
God bless your meat-like texture.
I don't know.
I like meat like meat.
They're so good though. Like you can't tell the difference.
I like a few, like there's like if I go to Yard House, I like their Gardein stuff. Those things are good. But
so Shonda, tell me that Dr. Shonda, my bad. Dr. Shonda, tell me this. So we got Slutty Vegan. Are you do you know anything about Slutty Vegan?
Yeah, I've been there before.
So I've tasted it, and that's meat like meat. I can say that. Is that legit, or is it just like?
No, that's good. Like
legit.
Yeah. It's good.
So that's legit.
Like the Slutty Vegan.
It tastes like meat for real.
Last one. Oh, what'd you say?
I said meat like texture, but go ahead, Jen.
I'm not. I don't. I tried the cauliflower pizza one time and I almost died.
Oh, good.
I don't want nothing that I'm dramatic. I don't want nothing that's like a wing. I want a wing. Amen. I want a wing.
In Jesus' name.
In
no
the
name.
In
Jesus' name. Ain't that like the real thing, baby?
All right. Last but not least, blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch.
Blue cheese.
Ranch. Don't even play with me.
Ranch.
Blue cheese.
Ooh,
oh my God.
Okay. So, Dana and Lawrence are by themselves with the blue cheese. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna say this before we get started. So tonight we're going to talk about breakups, all things breakups, exes, and things of that nature. But before we get there, I'm gonna say it again at the end of the show. I want to make sure that you guys are plugged into our new series called Spirit and Truth. Sunday was insane.
Well, not new, but revitalized. We've come back. We have come back with a whole new flavor. It is live. We're in church. Musicians. It's gonna be people that you've seen from YLC's Quarantine Got Talent. It's going up every Thursday, every Sunday. It's going up.
And the new one started. We kicked off on Sunday. There's a new episode tomorrow on Thursday. So just make sure you're locked in. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook.
Did she freeze? She froze?
Jennifer, come back. Come back. Come back to us. Come back. We need a moderator. Come on. Come. We about to be like a ship without a sail.
Shit. That's hilarious.
Jennifer, like she was saying though, YouTube and Facebook, if y'all haven't subscribed to those channels, y'all need to make sure y'all do that because Spirit and Truth is the real deal.
Sunday went for 50,000. I think it's sitting around 50,000 views right now. And so we are super, super, super excited. I know our presider is going to like this. Is for those that have given, we're definitely thankful for that. But it's definitely going up. That's YouTube and Facebook. We're thanking God for that whole family that's coming out and shooting with us. It's major. Bible study is tomorrow. We'll be back on Sunday. So it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It is a real vibe. And I need Jennifer to come back. It's not mine.
Well, while we're waiting for Jen to come back, let's talk about who wants to share the worst breakup experience you have had.
What?
Oh, come on. It can't be that bad.
Go ahead, fellas.
Yo, the devil just tried me real quick. The devil really tried my life. That's okay. Somebody gonna get free tonight. That's all right.
Yes.
In the name of Jesus. I'm gonna keep calling him, okay? Because something is happening. There's a shift in the atmosphere. I said, "Oh no, devil! Don't you play with me and my life. I pay these bills, okay? Woo, okay, back.
I pay this bill. My God.
Y'all, my pressure. Oh. Did y'all start off with something that I missed it?
Well, I asked them what was their worst breakup experience, if they were brave enough to share.
I don't want to answer that.
Why do you not want to answer? Was it on your side or was it on her side? Was it bad because it was bad for you or bad for her?
No, I think so. I would say it was bad for both of us because I don't think either one of us at that point had really gone through any sort of emotional maturity and growth outside of ourselves. And as a result of that, it didn't play out well, right? There were some areas that were unknown and unaddressed, right? And then there were also some areas in me that were unknown and unaddressed. So like when those things aren't aware to you, you can't acknowledge what you're not aware of, and you can't address what you don't acknowledge. So for me, because I was completely unaware of it, I couldn't acknowledge it, and I also couldn't address that I had some issues in that area. So, yeah, I think I would say it was bad for the both of us, and it was because of our lack of emotional maturity.
Was their name calling?
No.
Did you make your friends pick a side?
No, it wasn't any of that. And especially too, right? Because I mean, y'all, I think I said this before on the show, right? I've been engaged before, so like it was at the point where people had known, what the deal was, and people were aware of us, and it wasn't necessarily private; it was out there, it was public, right? So, it wasn't one of those things where there was public shaming going on, where people were trying to tear each other down, so to speak. There were just, little conversations happen, right? Where, if you're hurt, you speak out of that hurt.
Sure.
And, but outside of that, there wasn't any like, oh, you blah, blah, blah. It wasn't none of that.
Nobody else got testimony?
I'm the only one that was going to say something. That's the problem. You don't want to say nothing.
My worst breakup was a divorce, so mine was clearly worse than yours. And I will tell you this, it was the hardest decision I ever had to make. My divorce papers literally have tear stains on them. And I held on to them for 6 months longer than I probably should have. Because it was really, really hard. And at the time, there was this movie out called The Story of Us with Bruce Willis and Michelle Pfeiffer, and it was about them like going through the stages of divorce. And I watched that movie over and over again. Now in the movie, they ended up getting back together because they found a reason to stay. And I kept looking for that reason to stay, and I was really, really heartbroken because I couldn't find it. I was because it was the last thing I ever wanted to do. I did not get married to get divorced. So it was the hardest thing I had to do. And then speaking of emotional maturity, like I had to be very mature for the sake of having children and, not wanting them to be significantly impacted or feeling like it was their fault or any of all of that. So that was the hardest breakup I ever had.
Darnell said him too.
Mine was I don't know, like it wasn't the extent of a divorce because we were not married, but it was so hard. And I think one of the things that we don't talk about in the Christian conversation is breakups, right? Because we always say you're dating with purpose, you marry with purpose, but what happens when it ends and you really did everything? It's not always that somebody, well, maybe one person is a little off or something like that, but it's not always your fault. Like, it's not always you. It's not always you. Didn't intend for it to be like that, especially when you're public. I think a lot of us, we talk about our relationships being on social media and stuff like that. Nobody intends to put pictures up thinking that you're going to have to delete them. Like, nobody does not think that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, in that moment, you don't think like, this person will ever not be my person. Like, you wouldn't have, especially people like us, right? Who are intentional, who are purpose driven, like, oh Lord, who are purpose driven. He's singing a song. Sing your song, Anthony. Who really think like this may be the end. And I grieved that relationship for almost like over a year because, and I was upset with God. Like, I could not, I almost felt like, yo, did you play me? Like, what is going on? Like,
that's how I felt. Because I was like, I did everything they said in church. We was, what we knew about being equally yoked. We was like, all of those things that we were supposed to do. And I remember telling God, I did everything I was supposed to do. Why is this still happening? And it was because I was really immature and because I didn't realize that in the same way, like God doesn't force us to choose him, I can't make somebody love me and be committed to me and rise to the standard. Like, just can't do it.
Just like you have choice, they had a choice as well.
Right.
I think that's also the challenge too, though, because you brought something up. You said, like, basically, we do all we know to do, right? Like, but there's some things that we don't talk about doing and ends up coming back because we end up holding on to some relationships far longer than we should because we don't know to make the necessary ending of a relationship. Because sometimes our version of equally yoked is not truly compatible, right? Like, we think it is, but there are a lot of things that we don't take into account, and we hold on to it because we both belong to the church. We both are pursuing some sort of ministry field purpose or whatever we might call it. And then at the end of the day, we're sitting here holding on to it, but we're really truly not compatible. But there was just something that we saw that made us hold on to it. And we aren't necessarily taught how to have that conversation and make the necessary ending to say, hey, listen, you are a great person, but I don't think I'm for you, like that. And that's okay. There doesn't have to necessarily be something big and wrong to just be able to say, no, we just ain't. I don't think this is gonna work out. Like I'm just not for you, and that's okay. You don't have to like shame anybody. Ain't got to be harsh,
right?
And we don't always talk about that.
I got married really young because it was always, it's better to marry than to burn, and I didn't want to have no sexual sin. So I got married and that's why I was like, okay, Lord, I know I'm not going to be able to remain no virgin until I'm 30. So we've got to, hurry this along. And for what I knew at 19 about, being equally yoked, and you don't know nothing about being married when you're 19. You don't know nothing about being married, but nothing about relationships. I was so selfish and crazy and, whatever, but I was still trying to do things God's way. And so I also thought that if I did everything God's way, then the relationship was going to work out perfectly, right? Because God is in the middle of it. Yeah. But what I didn't realize is that God didn't absolve me of my responsibility in the relationship. And so just because God may have put people together doesn't mean they're not still going to have to work on things, doesn't mean they're not still going to fight. I thought, okay, if I'm doing it God's way, right? Because that's what, I kind of got sold as a Christian teenager. If you do it God's way, it's going to work out. Your marriage is going to last and all those other things. And that's really not the case. Unless, of course, even the people that I think of who have been married for like years and years and years and know that God is the center of their lives, they still have arguments. I bet you every one of them considered divorce, but they also, worked together and made that common goal of the Lord greater than their personal happiness or desires in a relationship.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if both partners aren't willing to do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to piggyback off what Lauren said, and you as well, and I'll just go a little bit further into the unequally yoked conversation. That's a little bit more deep than we make it to be. We make it to be, oh, she's saved, I'm saved, we're equally yoked. Yeah. Yoke is we're two people going in the same direction at the same. It's just a little bit more than us just saying that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. And I think we put ourselves in unfair situations because we look very shallow at the top of the water, and we're like, oh, this is going to work. Then when we get in the deep, now we're a little bit too. It's now an embarrassment to come back to the top and be like, well, it really wasn't what we thought it was. Because as we know, if you put it out there, there's a whole lot more scrutiny that comes to you, especially with platform and people knowing you and people that are following and listening to your voice. And so we just this right here is so helpful for all of us because it's reinventing how we think about the Christian walk and singles. Because the way we've been taught is just there's a lot to unpack.
So what does it mean to be equally yoked? Because we talk about that a lot.
Here's something that I learned about. I'm using myself as an example. So okay, so when we think about the yoke, right? This is a contraption that you put animals in for a particular purpose, right? So if you have oxen who are yoked up to plow the field, you put one ox and another ox so that they can head in the same direction. They know what they're supposed to be doing. So if you're unequally yoked, that would be the equivalent of putting an ox in the yoke alongside a stallion, right?
A donkey. In Deuteronomy, it says don't tie an ox with a donkey.
Exactly, right? So, and a lot of times, and this is where I might get in trouble, but a lot of times we getting yoked up before we know which animal we are.
That's good.
That's good.
Like, we're looking at other people and we're saying, oh, that's a strong person that could help plow, right? But we don't know which field we supposed to plow.
Right.
So how you getting yoked up when you don't know which kind you belong to yet?
Yeah.
So we gotta do like what it takes to identify which kind we belong to first.
Yeah.
Before we start talking about getting yoked up.
Right.
First part.
Yeah.
And then when we can identify that, then we can see which kind we belong to.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nah, Lawrence, that's
And then too, and you said something else, Lawrence, even because it's not just whether you're together, but whether you're together in the same place or the same stage. And then you guys have to be going in the same direction. And do you want the same things out of life? And again, you know, when I look back at, you know, my marriage, on the surface, we seemed like we wanted the same thing. But then too, a lot of what he was doing was just pretense, just to get me. So when it really came time to start plowing this here field or having kids or like building a life together, it was like, I'm tired. And you know, I was like the only person pulling the yoke by myself. So imagine, you know, a dead yoke or a dead oxen, you know, being pulled along in this relationship. We weren't going anywhere. And then I was frustrated. And honestly, that's why most people end up getting divorced. Because they're, you know, if one person feels like they're carrying the relationship all on their own.
If you find yourself, and this is a question, if you find yourself like in such a situation or in a situation where you are now realizing that this is not what it was or this is not what it seemed to be, what does that next move look like? And if I'm already married and I've never seen the signs of this before, what do I do?
Cut it.
No, wait.
You can cut it off that
It's
quick.
This is two different scenarios now. Don't you get me in trouble.
Lawrence!
Because the principle was in the comments. Don't you start this. Now, if you're married, you talk to your pastor and
you talk to your pastor and you get counseling. That's exactly what we did.
I didn't hear the married part. This is a single chat. This is a single chat. I didn't hear the married part.
I'm just saying, he said.
Well, here's the thing: singles come in all shapes and sizes. We have some divorcees on here too. So
that's right. So you under, you know, you figure that out. I think, but that goes back to what Lawrence said. Are we mature enough to have the conversation? Hey, this isn't working out, and I think that sometimes that's where we get stuck because just for I can't speak for all women, but from what I've seen, a lot of people have like, even if we're together, I have already picked out my wedding dress, my colors. I already have planned the future before I have planned my marriage. So separating from you is like, what you mean? This is it. Like, what you talking about? This is Boaz. I didn't wait it for you. Like, I don't care if it works or not. We're just gonna run this train on in the ground. But are we mature enough, like Lawrence was saying, to have those conversations? And I think that is a piece of the conversation that's missing. Are you mature enough to say, like, when do we come together? When do I realize that this is not for me? And we can separate without being messy, without it being, you know, just a disaster. And I don't know if we have mastered that in our generation.
I don't think so. I don't.
You know what saves us from what saves us from having to have the conversation on the back end is when we have enough observation on the front end. Before we get yoked up with the donkey that don't want to move, it would have behooved us to look at the donkey in the field before it got yoked up, because a donkey can only reveal its personality after so long. You can't hide that for so long, right? So there are some times where, like Dana said, people play the game. You know, they play the show, they put the face on, they put the mask on, they know how to act, they know what you want, how you want it, and they play that part. And then you're sitting there thinking that that's who that person is. But if we watch and observe for enough time without having already made that emotional investment, where we've already got stuff picked out, where we've already started telling people this the one, and we start having that kind of language and conversation with one another, eventually that behavior is going to pop up. Eventually that personality, that character trait, that's not necessarily amoral, but maybe it just doesn't mesh with you. And
Yeah.
you can see it and say, okay, let me back off of that. Or if it's something that, like we talked about, preferences and standards, if this is something that we can have a conversation about, then we can have a conversation about. But then those other things that are just like the non-negotiables that you can see from afar off by just observing them in the field before you put the yoke on them, then that saves you from having to have the conversation on the back end.
I don't know
Let me
about
tell you, that's not necessarily true, because people can play a role for years, and not only that, you can't, your partner, because part of your life together is you growing together. So there are some things that your partner is supposed to help work out of you, and you're supposed to work into them. Like you're not the same. Even in the course of our marriage, I wasn't the same person at 19 that I was at 29. So the course, and he couldn't have known everything about me because I didn't even know everything about me.
Yeah.
So it's not fair to say that, of course, take time and observe and do all those things, but you're not going to know everything about your person. And I will tell you this too. There is something about the covenant of marriage that when you say I do, like you get hit full force with everything. Everything in our courtship was roses and wonderful. But the moment you make that covenant, have you ever noticed, like on fast day, like you are starving for 28 in a week? But day before fast day, you can work all day long, look up at 7 o'clock, I haven't eaten. But on fast day, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with your stomach growling. Why?
You. That's
you
true.
made something with God that you're going to fast, and the enemy comes to attack it.
Yeah.
That's because the enemy hates marriage.
He
Absolutely.
hates marriage.
Anything godly. So it's a target. So I think one of the things that you have to do in the dating process is constantly have evaluations with yourself to say, is this really what I want? And when you get to that point where you're suppressing what you want for the sake of the relationship, and you're bypassing Holy Spirit, you're bypassing your standards, your morals, and your future, then I think we need to have a come to Jesus moment about what this really is, and not just riding the wheels of a fantasy. Shonda, I want to hear from you. Tell us what we need to do. You the expert.
No, like that's absolutely true. And I'm thinking about some of my own experiences where you guys hit the nail on the head. For me, it wasn't necessarily me worried about how equally yoked we were, because I knew we weren't equally yoked, but it was more so all the time that was invested. And I was like, wow, how am I going to do this? How am I just going to like up and just end it, right? And it was like 5 to 6 years down the drain, I'm thinking. But God would not let me rest. I kept having dreams about it. I kept having, any service I went to, somebody prophesying to me. Like God would not let it go, because he wanted me to know that wasn't the right relationship. And I think that just speaks to the fact that it's really important not to be afraid of things like the time invested in people. Because at the end of the day, if you're not equally yoked to that individual, then what's the point? Like, how can two walk together unless they agree? Like, there is absolutely no point in continuing to invest your time, your resources, your energy, all these different things into somebody who like you're not going to work out with. So,
I want to double back, and both Dana and Lawrence were right, but I want to double back and put this out there and see what you guys have to say. When I look at us, especially my generation, what I can say is, while Dana is absolutely right, you really just can't know sometimes. But many times we fall in love like after 2 weeks, and now we have blinders. Many times, you've been on the phone and you've been talking, you've been dating, and all of a sudden it's like, it's not, this is my friend, or this is my, it's none of that. That's my husband. Like we've moved very quickly into a stage where it is easy to have those blinders that say, oh no, that's okay, I love him anyway. Oh no, that's okay. We kind of push ourselves into a place where that discernment is not there, as Shonda was saying, Dr. Shonda was saying, that all of the things that we need in order to make sound decisions, we don't have anymore, because we've already moved into a place emotionally where we're very attached. And for us, that happens really, really fast. And I think that's where, we're going with Lawrence's comment is, we've got to pull back from that. And we've got to be able to make sure that from an emotional place, we're still making sound decisions. We can't bypass, we see this all the time in the memes and stuff. The red flags that you ignore today will be the same reasons you walk away tomorrow. And we got to make our job easier by. I'm not saying you're not going to feel for a person, but it's really really tough when we've already put those blinders on ourselves.
Right, but for me, I wasn't attached. I was just comfortable. So.
I think to piggyback off what you said, Elisha, I think I'm not so much consumed with the timing because I believe now, I know we got a lot of dating for 15 years and things like that. Whew, but I believe that God can do it in 3 months, right? But I think that it needs to be spirit led. And I also want to note that it doesn't mean in the dating process that someone said just because you are Christians, or somebody isn't saved or something like that. I think that once you, and I'm not even trying to be like, this is a real spooky moment though. But I think that as you grow with the Lord, your appetite changes.
Yes.
And that person is either going to grow with you or you're going to leave them behind. And I say that because the relationship with the man that I thought I was going to marry, nothing bad happened. He was not a cheater. He was not a bad person. I literally went to a poetry event and genetics with the Poets in Autumn tour. She said something, she was talking, she had a testimony about her husband. And she said something like, I knew that with him, I was closer to God than without him. Y'all, that thing, it was like an aha moment. I was like, I don't have that. Like, I was like, I don't have that. And I literally was confused. I was like wrestling with God because I'm like, no, my ring is really on the way. Like, it's at any day now I could be getting my ring. Like, we have any day now. Like, this could happen. And it literally was the Holy Spirit told me He doesn't love you like I love you.
My
and y'all
God.
thinking, it was like, what you mean? Like, no.
My God.
Like, this is not, no. This is not the truth. Like, I invested time. I didn't invest in money. I haven't dated nobody else. I don't want to start over. Like, are you kidding me? He was like, He doesn't love you like I love you. And I literally, like, it was a horrible, it wasn't nice. It was a horrible breakup. But I literally had to go with God. Like, and I think that when we're talking about Christian dating, some things won't make sense. It's not that you're a bad person. Like Lawrence was saying earlier, it's not that you don't have some of the qualities that I have. But at the end of the day, is my future better with you? Am I going to produce in the spirit more with you? I'm not trying to, I'm really not trying to be deep and spooky, but I think that I've seen so many people get married and die spiritually. Their dreams died, their vision died. They're literally in the cemetery now because they wanted to have a party more than they wanted their purpose. And I think that that's why it gets a little tricky. So I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to go on this tangent.
No, but I think that's where the equally yoked kicks in. That is exactly where it kicks in, is the fact that we're not on the same level spiritually and we're not called to the same type things spiritually. What we're able to carry is not the same. I want a deeper level of glory than you do. That's unequally yoked right there. And that's going to be an issue because while you're trying to press in presence, they're trying to have your presence with them. That's not something that they're interested in to the depth that you are. You might want the kind of glory where you walk in a room and bodies are healed. That takes time.
No. I really want that.
That takes time.
That's what I'm asking.
And if you're with someone that's the furthest thing from their mind, that right there is unequally yoked. And it doesn't make them unsaved. It just makes the two of you unequally yoked. And I think that's how deep it is. But that's not what we're thinking. We're just like, he's saved, she's saved, I'm good. No, you're not. I think even early in some of the earlier shows we were talking about, when some of us that have visions to, be doing certain things nationwide or doing things internationally, but the person that you like has an issue with you being in a room with a whole bunch of people. This is just a room. We clearly not equally yoked because I need more than this room. And I think we have to go into the depth of what that really, really is. And so,
that's
Jen,
a good question.
That's good.
So I do want to talk about that. How do you quantify these spiritual levels? Like, do you say, because you said that they may want a deeper glory, you may want a deeper glory than they do. Like, how do you? What does that look like?
I think we know. We can't.
Because he just got saved. I could still marry him.
No, you can't.
I can't.
No, you can't.
So Jen, this is how you quantify that. Jen,
Paul was changed, but Paul already had a history with God already. Paul
he was the enemy of God.
Paul knew the scriptures at least. He just had to get a new revelation.
Paul was all in. All his life, he was all in. He just He just
it's not like Paul all over again, but we needed Paul's conversion because we needed all that time that he studied, and then we needed him to get a spiritual revelation.
Yeah.
So y'all saying that?
I would contend this too. Some people,
I'm
going
to get a new convert. Like I don't know, because them people say, "Thank you, Lord."
Right?
Will they clap like this, baby? Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
I would say this though. You cannot equate time saved as a level of spirituality, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because there are some people who have had an experience where they've accepted. I'll say it like this: every person who's saved isn't necessarily sanctified.
Right.
Because there are some people who have come to accept Jesus as their savior, but not as their Lord. And then there are others who were saved today, and they've gone all in to say, not only are you my savior, but you're also my Lord. You lead my life. There are people who've been in church for decades who are still working on the you lead me part.
Yeah.
So we can't always equate time in as a certain level of spirituality, and also you can't equate time in with the depth or the desire of that person's heart to want to have that relationship with God. Whereas there are some who, I mean, I know we kind of joked about it, but we had a couple who will remain Shonda, Jen, they Muslims.
Wow, I thought this was a safe space.
This is a safe space, but watch this. I'm gonna redeem it in a second, because there are at least from my own personal experience, people that I know, our Muslim brothers, they make the best Christians. Mm-hmm. They really do. Because there's a certain level of sacrifice that they and discipline that they are accustomed to.
Yeah.
That when they do come to the realization that Jesus Christ is the way and that there is none but him, then they are all in. Like they are, I mean, they'll tell before they even converted, they'll tell you about the Bible. So that's a non-starter. So you can't always equate how long somebody's been in with their level or depth of desire in having a relationship with God and allowing the Holy Spirit to lead them. You can't always equate that. So it could happen. It could be.
That's what I'm saying. Anything can happen with the Lord, because there are some people that's been saved a year, but there's some people that's been on the same level with God for 15 years, and it's still year one.
Ain't grown.
They ain't got no depth. They ain't got no length. Like, I don't even know if they received since they.
Can we pause? The bishop is in the room.
The bishop is in the room.
Oh, good bishop. Good evening, good bishop.
Hi, bishop. Wait a
minute.
The bishop is in the room. He absolutely is. Right.
He said, "Did y'all say that equally yoked? Both people have to have the same ministry aspirations." I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that.
That's not what we said.
No, that's not what we said. We're just saying it's a little bit deeper than just being saved.
Y'all about to get in trouble.
No, it's a bit deeper than just saying I love Jesus. It's just deeper than that. There's more to it.
But you also have to look at the practical side of things too, because you can't just be overly practical things of what it means to be equally yoked as well.
Absolutely. And I won't say it the way he said it, but there's a great teaching out there done by Dr. R.A. Vernon. And he talks about that, where he's just like, listen, you know what you like, date what you like, marry what you like, right? And it's not this overly, deep and spiritual thing where it's like, I was in the holies of holies, and you know, I saw their face. It ain't got to be all that. Like, date what you like, talk to what you like, and don't. And here's the part that I think some of us are guilty of, and I know I've done this before, where we will ignore the practical and only look at some of the spiritual indicators of what it is that we think we need in our lives. Whereas we'll see where they are in their walk with Christ, and where they are in their spirituality, in their ministry. We'll look at that stuff, and then we'll really not pay attention to the fact, yeah, I don't like them. Like, I just don't like her. Like, she's great in these areas, but I don't like her. Like, there's just practical stuff I just don't like. You know, we have two completely different interests. We don't share a lot at all. I mean, like, that's the kind of stuff that I think a lot of us don't pay attention to, but that's also part of being equally yoked.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
I also feel like we get in trouble by trying to quantify the things that are in the spirit, because if it's spiritual, then it's immeasurable. It's not something that we can necessarily like try to put numbers on and say, oh, they've been saved for this many years. That means they're this saved, right? So I think that in order to, you know, find that individual who you can be equally yoked with, it's, again, you're looking at the heart. You're looking at, you know, how they respond to God. You're looking at how they honor God. It's not necessarily something that we can quantify.
But I think maybe not. I know he said,
like, if I've never seen you pray,
there it is, Dana.
If you don't, if I have to ask where you are on a Sunday or a Tuesday, you not in church or a Bible, then
there it is.
You know what I mean? There's some things that you can kind of measure it by. Of course, church attendance and measuring stick to at least to begin the evaluation.
Yeah, there it is. He said quantify. I don't know if that's necessarily how we need to put it from a verbiage standpoint. But what it really is an assessment of, if this is your spiritual walk, does my spiritual walk or what I want out of it align with what you want, right? Like Dana said, if you pray, and I know we tear up the Father God prayers, but if you're praying and that's what you're saying, it's an issue. It's an issue if your prayer is not you praying like you just got saved, but you've been saved.
What does that mean?
Right.
No, we're still working the kinks out. There has to be, you know, we just need.
Hey, there's some people when they get, those are the most honest prayers.
I agree.
They forget the these and the thuses and the thous and all that kind of stuff. They just go for
There's
it.
none of that.
So you gotta pray like Adina Pullings in order for you to talk to her. Like she gotta do that.
No.
So like, what is that? How do you?
You just need to pray like you know him. Pray like you know the man. Pray like you know the man. You know, hey, you know one of them, Jen. You know one of them mothers' prayers. You'd be like, "Come on, mama. She's praying. She's in."
I just feel like praying. To say like, oh, this person's not as spiritual because they don't speak in tongues like this person, or they don't do this like that person. I don't know.
You can't compare it. We're not comparing.
Here's and now, you know, all jokes aside, biblically speaking, there is something in us, like our spirit testifies with his that we are the children, that we are the sons of God, right? Now, if that's the truth, then that means that there should be a connective piece. Do y'all hear that?
It's cool. Keep talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know they did that on the street. But there's something in us that should connect. So regardless of whether or how eloquent the prayer is, there's something in us that should feel the sincerity and the heart behind it, right? There's some sort of discernment that we should have to say, yeah, maybe they just trying to figure it out, or, you know, yes, this is sincere. It may not be as learned as some of ours may have been after having been in church forever and a day, but that's a sincere prayer. And now I'm gonna tell you, I've been in some rooms where there's some people who they don't get overly emphatic with the prayer. There is not a whole lot of eloquence in their speech, but when I tell you the sincerity of that thing can shift the room, it can shift the room. You can feel that. You know how sincere that is. So, and also, I think that we should also bring this out too. We're talking about dating here. So you're not necessarily gonna feel like the room or the restaurant shift that y'all go out to eat and he blessed the food. You know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. Like, but there are like we should have evidence of who we are and what we believe. There should be some things about us that are different than the rest of the world, and that's just fact. So we should be able to discern that with one another, between one another, right? Like I don't think a dating tip would be to ask your boy to pray. And she's like, nah, I don't know about that one. Like that might need to wait. You know, y'all still at the let's get to know each other phase. Let's not put somebody on the spot to see if he could pray or not.
Yeah.
Well, Elisha has basically gonna have her in the spiritual Olympics, so I'm not sure.
That's crazy.
What is going to happen? I think one of the things as people of God, if we are sincere in asking God for a partner or about our divine connections, is to ask the Lord to show you their heart. Like, what does that look like? And you said at the restaurant, you may not be judging his prayer, but show me his character. Like I've said this before. How does he treat the person that is serving us? That's a big deal to me. How do you treat your family members, your parents? Like, what does that look like? I think that sometimes, it may get extra deep, and there are some red flags that are straight on the surface. Like, are you a giver? Like, do you, if we're out and someone we see somebody on the street that needs a jump or that needs a phone, like don't worry about that, come on, let's do that. Like, not like, how are you kind-hearted, right? I think those are some of the things that really show godly character, that it doesn't have to be, because we swimming in oceans tonight, that it has to be all of that you can really see whether or not this person may be compatible, this person may have just be kind and make, be who you desire to be with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you prayed that prayer, right? You prayed the prayer that, hey, God, show me, and he's now shown you that this gentleman, or for us, bro, young lady, that just ain't it. They're not evil. They're just not for you. How would you guys broach that conversation?
Well, Sean is probably going to ghost them, not call them anymore.
Right.
I don't know.
Slowly back away. Like
they was only texting anyway, so I mean,
they were texting anyway. Oh man, I think it's one thing. Is one thing we've said. We probably said this in every single live. Is communication, and we just, we can't think ourselves too high to have a conversation. That's the best thing we can do for ourselves. That's the best thing we can do for the other person. Ghosting shouldn't be our resolve. Like if we know that this isn't our situation, this isn't for us, the smallest thing we can do is just give that person a conversation and just let them know, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I need, and this is what this is not for me. And okay, you say that, and then their response is, "Oh, well, I mean, I can do that. I mean, like that's small." You cannot have the conversation with the idea. If it's to the point where you feel like you need to walk away, then this conversation is not your bidding for them to see if they can get back in the run. You need to walk away, and that takes self-control and discipline. So I can't answer that for everybody else. Everyone has to answer that for you. Are you having this conversation for them to get better? Are you having this conversation to address issues that you want them to work on to see if they can go somewhere? Are you having this conversation saying, I need to walk away? And if the answer is I need to walk away, then you need to walk away, or you're going to pay for it if you stay.
But let's help the singles out, because this is not an easy conversation to have, and we know that.
But why isn't it though? I think it is. I think that
because it's a personal rejection. Nobody wants to hear the person that they're in love with or planning a future with doesn't want them anymore. That's
okay, so Jen, perfect. You gave us your testimony of having been with a guy, thinking this guy was it, right? The Lord showed you that it was not. How did you have that conversation?
Oh, it was very bad, actually. I mean,
yeah.
so, but I'm talking about before you get to that place. And I think it was, sometimes and I think that sometimes we want to hold on because we are in love with the idea of love. We're in love with the idea of a relationship. We want to be married. We want companionship, and sometimes that blurs the lines of what is and what isn't. Like, it had already been over for a while. We were just having the closing conversation, and it literally took us a whole week to break up, because it was weird. But I think that when and I want us to get to the place that it's not, there will be deep conversations, for that particular person. I really thought that was my person, right? But there are also instances where you're not that deep, right? And you just want to break, just kind of go your separate ways and say, this isn't it. I don't think it's always about the conversation. It's more like, hey, I think you're a great person. This isn't to demean you or to belittle you, but I just don't think that we're the right fit for each other, and be okay with that. Because one of the things that, I know for me, I've had that conversation before with someone else, and they literally was like, well, what I need to do to be it? Just tell me what to do. And I'm like, it's really nothing you can do. Like, it's just not. He was like, no, just tell me what to do. I'll go to church with you every Sunday. Just tell me whatever I gotta do, I'll do it. But I think that, you kind of have to have your mind made up if you know that this isn't it. Otherwise, you will find yourself in another cycle for years hanging on, because in your heart, it's a heart matter, right? Your emotions are involved. You're attached, and it's like, okay, well, let's try again. And then here we are with some more time, and God already told you this isn't the one. So I think sometimes it's not just about a conversation, it's about closure. And when I say meaning, not the conversation piece, like, there isn't nothing that's going to change my stance on this. This is the last conversation.
That's it, Jen. Jen, that's it. That's it.
And that's what I wanted to get to.
Do you think that's a woman thing, though? Because I think when women have made up their mind and we shut the door, it's closed for good. Like, once we finally get to that point, like, there's nothing you can say. There's a point of no return. Like, there's nothing you can say or do. Is that just a woman thing, or is that a guy? Do guys get that way too?
I don't know. I don't, because I don't know if I can say, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and like, you can move heaven and earth, and she's gonna look at you like, nobody, like, don't worry about it, it's okay. I don't know if we necessarily have that same resolve. We might take that approach, but I don't know if, and personally, I can't ever say that I've ever been in that position, so I can't even say that personally for me. But that resolve, I've seen it, and there's nothing like a woman when she's done. And I don't know if we necessarily have that exact disposition. I don't know if that's a true fact.
I be trying to wing. I think sometimes we try to wing stuff off. Like, I be trying not to call that much. Like, if you know that I'm not calling no more, like, shouldn't we be? Like, if you see that we used to talk every day and we don't anymore, like, let's just ease into a separation. And we just,
I mean, you could take that. You could take that perspective, but like, the moment that you've decided to start to lean off is also a moment where you could just straight up have that conversation, because you've already decided in your mind this is not going to go much further. Yeah. So, like, the reason why I was asking that question is because I know I've fallen prey to this, and just because this is a singles chat, and I want to help all the singles out there. What we have to make sure that we do is guard our hearts before the conversation, meaning that we set the boundaries around that conversation before we go into it. So that way, when the argument is presented, or the shift is presented as a counter offer, so to speak, we don't allow that to affect what we already know. Because then what Jen said is exactly true. What'll happen is we will convince ourselves in that moment that maybe our heart could shift toward the person again, but then you'll continue to be distant emotionally while still trying to be close physically in the same sort of time and space, right? So thank you, Jen, for going there with me, because I think a lot of times we psych ourselves out before we have that conversation because we know, right? Like we know when it's, and in terms of what you were asking, in terms of the guys, I would say straight up, I can speak for this guy, and this guy has done that where I've known where it's like, this is clearly over, right? Like my mind has been made up, but I didn't necessarily have that same result when it came to having the conversation. Because I'll have a conversation and then go into it with this this grace and this space for growth. Just thinking to myself like, oh yeah, like they have time to kind of get there, but that's not practical. That's not going to happen. So we got to guard our hearts before the conversation, set the boundaries and parameters of the conversation to know I'm not going there with that person. We're not going to go back and forth on examples as to when they did or did not do something that I said I didn't like. We're not going to go back and forth on when they did or didn't show the characteristics that I am saying that I can no longer deal with. We're not doing that. I'm just giving them where I am so that I can move on, right? We have to do that before we go into that conversation.
Perfect.
Does rejection hurt less when it's done right?
No. That's just one of those things that we have to, take into stride and learn how to deal with gracefully. Because it's like a death. You're literally going to grieve the future that you had with that person. And you kind of have to look at it through the stages of grief and do whatever it is that you do. That's why it's important for you to have the support of friends and family. And, that's why you do things to keep yourself occupied and, kind of move past it, because it hurts. No matter how eloquent you have a conversation, even if even as the, person who's on the other end of it, even if you know that the relationship isn't going anywhere, it may not even be that you're grieving for the person. You're grieving for the life that you wanted to have with them, or the life that you had planned. Just like you said, Jen, we all have our wedding dress picked out, our wedding ring picked out. We know exactly what our dream wedding's going to look like, all that, right? So you've already imagined this whole future. And of course, in the time, no matter how long you've spent with that person, the time that you guys have spent together, there has to have been some dream building. There has to have been some talk of the future. There has to have been, some, how are we going to mesh our lives together? Yeah. And in the course of doing that, even though it's still tenable, that breaking away still hurts.
Yeah. Dana, that's it. Somebody said, I don't know if it's still here. He said, I think it only hurts when you haven't warned them that a potential breakup is coming.
How do you warn them?
Either way.
You see red flags.
It hurts either way. It's gonna hurt. It's just what Dana just said. It's the fact that you've really aligned the vision of your life to head in this direction. And it's like, okay, we're no longer heading in this direction. And that's going to hurt no matter whether you've been prepping for it for a year. It just doesn't matter. The pain is still going to happen. And then it just boils down to what Lawrence and Jennifer have said is, even though that pain happens, you just have to still be, you have to be willing to walk away for the better good. The better good of yourself, the other person, whatever. But you still have to be willing to say, I'm going to go. Like, this is not it, and I'm going to take my step.
And if we're honest, most women don't know that it's coming because men tend to shut down and they're not as communicative. So then we have to try to interpret what your silence means, what your distance means. You know what I mean? So that's why we have to talk about communication so much, because it's not just in your language or what you do or don't do. It has to be like the actual conversation, the actual words. And one of the things I just recently witnessed, like two friends of mine who've been dating for maybe I think 3 or 4 years, and it really looked like they were going to make it to the altar. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, they were separated. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I thought. And it was just like, wow, this is not what I th But, you know, he had that, you know, conversation with himself. Is like, can I take her exactly as she is now and not worry about things in the future? And his answer was no. So he had to end the relationship. And rather than, and even though he was diplomatic, even though he did everything right, she still is hurt. She's still not talking to him to this day. But, you know, because it's all in how you handle it. And it wasn't like it's a personal rejection. And one of the things he recently told me is that he's just sad because now he's lost a friend.
Okay, so let's go there. Should she still be talking to him though?
This is why I said, I think we had this conversation a little bit before. That's why you have to like figure out how to date in a way that makes somebody better off for having known you, as opposed to now, okay.
But do I have to be your friend?
No.
Because things aren't working out. You have the first person on the face of the planet, so you're going to throw away everything that you just said you loved about him?
Yes.
That's not, that doesn't,
You don't have to do that.
doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I am. We are not together anymore.
Now,
So
do they have to?
comments.
And here's the thing: if it was based on a friendship and you value your friendship, then you should do what it takes to preserve that friendship. Now, is that going to happen overnight? No. Is that because, you know, in us, we want to feel like we won. So if we break up, I better have somebody new before you. I better be in a relationship before you, and you better be miserable without me.
No, I don't.
I think.
I don't even think that. I just don't want to be your friend. Like,
Exactly.
I gotta be your friend.
You don't have to be friends. So this is my thought process on this. I think that's going to be the disposition when I meet you. It's husband from the jump, right? From the jump, it's 2 weeks in. I can't wait till I meet my future. Like, if that's the angle, then if it ends, there's nothing to go back to, because all it ever was a potential romantic relationship. That's all this ever was. So there's nothing to go back to. In the case of those that were friends, if y'all can salvage that relationship after time, why not? And then if you get in another relationship after the fact, you definitely have to be honest about that, about the content of that relationship and what it was. But if you started off and it was just, oh my God, we're going to be in love and we're going to be happily ever after, then I don't even think it's equal to being friends, because you've never been friends. You've always pursued a certain type of relationship. So I think
that's too deep for me.
Then I think we're on the same page.
I think there's levels to friendship.
I don't want to
Listen,
like,
no one is saying you have to be.
I don't want to be your friend.
No one is saying you have to be.
We're good. We're good.
But I'm just saying there's
like, we're fine. I still love you for Christ, but I'm not about to be calling you. You're not about to be texting me. When I see you in the street, I can say what's up, but like, no, you're not about to be for what? Friends for what? No.
Exactly, truly, exactly. Y'all want to be
if you were friends before
the job that you left, you're not.
If we were friends before, we can be cordial afterward. Period. Like, I'm not about to be all like kiki, haha, like texting, call. No, we're done.
Not the whole 9. I'm not saying the whole 9, but I'm just saying nothing can be salvaged. That's just my question. I'm just asking. Nothing can be salvaged.
Here's my perspective on it. I feel like there are some relationships that have ended that were profitable that don't necessarily grant you proximity. Just because I profited from that relationship, we were cordial, we were friends, all that kind of stuff. We tried it out, didn't work. Doesn't mean that on the back end that you got to be close to me. There's no written thing that says just because we cool that we got to be talking, right? Like that we're friends in that sense. That's why I say I think there's levels to it. Where it's like, oh yeah, like, they cool, but I'm not, we ain't texting, you know what I mean? Like, we're not hitting each other up.
But I think we have to be clear. Just because I don't want to be your friend doesn't mean that I'm speaking ill of you, that I have a disdain for you or anything like that. I don't want you in my personal space. My friends are very important to me. I tell them about my victories. I tell them about, the different things going on in my life. You're not, I deleted your number. I don't know if it's you calling. Because it's just not, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that.
And we also got to be
in the comments. Are y'all still friends with y'all exes? Let me know.
So deleting number. So this,
No.
I would say this is what because to me, and of course, this is all our different perspectives. So guys, we're not mad at each other. This is just we just think on this different ways. This is how I would feel about it. And don't nobody have no issue with this. I'm just saying I'm using this for an example. Let's say myself and Jennifer. Let's say if we were
I'm
to
gonna stop
get
using
a
me as
little
an
bit
example,
closer,
okay? Because my husband may be watching this, so y'all have to chill.
he's gonna be okay. He's
Bless
gonna
you,
be
man of
okay.
God.
He's gonna be okay. If that were to be absolved, however it is absolved, I would not. It wouldn't be from me that was saying I don't want to talk to you no more. Like if something was going on, I would still be willing to help as a friend. Like I'm not about to X a person out of my life because we don't work out in that certain way. Now I think that does need to be. It's definitely context has to be given on where the relationship goes, everything. All of those things definitely make up context to it. But if it's a way to salvage the actual relationship of it, I've already known you. We've been friends. I've looked to you for advice. You've looked to me for help. We've done certain things. I'm going to try to salvage something from this at least. I'm not going to just throw this. I'm not deleting numbers. I'm not blocking you. I'm not deleting you off my social media. That's not what I'm doing. That's just my perspective.
Here and let me say this too. That can work for Elisha, but it don't work for everybody because
Agree.
you got to do what it takes to guard our hearts. And
Agreed.
sometimes I need that cut. I need that separation. Now, at some point, maybe I'm cool from the relationship. I've completely healed. I'm moving on and whatnot. Then, okay, maybe like if I decide to refollow you on Instagram or something, then whatever. But I think it's important that we make sure that what we are saying is what we are saying for us, and that is not a prescription, because you got to do what it takes to make sure that you are okay after a relationship, that you move on, that you can heal. But I did see a comment that I wanted to ask y'all about because I don't like it at all. It came from Miles Drew Daniels. He said, "My ex is my best friend, but it comes with a maturity level to keep a friendship after a breakup." Now,
I think
here's
that's
my
true.
thinking. If your ex is your best friend, they shouldn't be your ex.
We bless God for Miles.
That's not true.
How does that work? How does it work? And let me say this too. How do you expect to ever date again when you have an ex who's your best friend? Because I can tell you this, ain't no woman I know that's gonna be cool with that. Y'all gonna be cool with that?
We
You
bless
cool
God
with
for
that, Dana?
Miles.
No.
As for me in my house, no for 500.
What?
No.
What has you so hurt to where
I'm
this
not
person
hurt.
has to
It's
be?
about
No, not you,
boundaries.
not you.
Oh.
I'm saying generally speaking. What is the hurt factor to where this person gets deleted from a life? If we say if we've talked for a little bit, if we've done certain things, we've gone on dates or whatever, and then we reach a place where we say this is not the kind of relationship we can have. Does that have to equal there is no relationship here?
It depends on the person. If that works for you, that works. But you can't force me to accept what I'm not ready to accept. So that means, like we
Not
talked
at
about
all.
in the comments, if you're saying we're not being together is a level of rejection for me, you're not going to keep pushing yourself on me and tell me this is what I have to do. You do not have that right anymore.
Wait,
Now,
no, absolutely not.
if you're on fire and I have water, I'm not going to let you die. But when it comes to my friends and my, the answer is no.
Now that's not Christ-like at all.
Yes, it is. She's letting him live.
If
Go
you're
ahead,
on fire, I'm going to throw the water on you. I'm going to save you in the name of Jesus. Like, I'm going to do the Lord, WWJD. Okay, I'm going to do that.
We're gonna leave.
Jesus
We're
love
gonna
your
leave his
enemies.
name out of this
You
one.
can love your enemies.
We're gonna leave his name out of this
I
one.
didn't say I didn't love him, but I think that sometimes we have to, everybody's boundaries are different. And if you're still stung from that, if it still hurts, trying to keep seeing that person on social media, that's why people be crazy.
No, this I agree.
Nobody's saying that. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be an immediate thing. You have to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling about the relationship, the loss of it, whatever. But I don't see why it has to mean completely throwing away a person just because your relationship did not take the trajectory that you wanted it to take.
I think the language that we use is important. Go ahead, Sean.
I just feel like if I block somebody, that's more so me setting like a boundary. Because like I feel like if we're done, then you don't need to be in my DMs, you don't need to be texting me, you don't need to be calling me. So that's just me setting that parameter. But trust and believe, like if you need something, like if you need to buy an app from me, if you need some sort of business from me, email me. Period. That's the
and I think that's the important part.
I'm not gonna block you from Cash App. What you need?
No, not at all. I need the coins.
That is funny.
That's so
But
funny.
I think sometimes we try to and again, I think the preference that you set, Lawrence, is very important. What works for you works for you. Allow the Holy Spirit to lead you in those boundaries. But if you know, like for example, we prayed about soul ties last week. Let's get very serious. If you have, and I'm not even just talking about with sex, if you have created word bonds with this person, when you say things like "You're my man," "I'm gonna be with you forever," that is a word bond, and you need to separate yourself from that because that connection can block you from whatever the next that God wants to do for you. You start comparing and all of those things. So I think we have to be very clear about what your boundary is and be honest about what that looks like. Are we friends? If that's what you want to do, because we've already determined that's a no for me. But if are we friends, or are we friends with the hope of maybe we'll get back together? Like, what is that? Like, your motives matter.
Right.
But I'm gonna say it's a no for me, dog.
No, when it comes to that, we're not saying two things. We're saying the same thing. We're not saying two things when it comes to that. It's definitely someone said it in the comments and was absolutely right. This is definitely situational for one. And two, context is everything. Right? If y'all come as close to a married life as you could have, and then y'all say it's a no, I can assure you there is nobody on earth that's going to want to put up with such a situation if y'all calling each other's friends after the fact. That doesn't make sense. So it's definitely situational and it's definitely full of context. But even in saying that, I'm just going to say I'm not throwing a person away. But if boundaries need to be established, you're not about to be hit my phone. Like, I would think we already know this.
Some people don't. Sometimes.
Okay, so let me say it.
If the door isn't closed, it's still open, and that means for some people that you can walk through it when you choose. I'm telling you, the door is closed and it is locked. Okay, and I'm not answering anymore. So that's just me. But Elisha, if you want to continue.
No, it's situational and it's based on context.
I got
Here's the important part. Here's the important part, right? The Bible says that a hope deferred makes the heart sick. And when you have these relationships and you have hope in them, right? So when they don't work out, your heart is sick. So you have to do what it takes to guard your heart so that it can heal. Now, some of us know ourselves enough to know that if I do keep that level of relationship or connection with you, communication with you, where we're calling ourselves friends and we still hitting each other up, that our hearts will still hold on to the hope that's been deferred and we will continue to be sick. So we got to do what it takes once again to guard ourselves from that. And it's not, and I think the words that we use are important. We're not throwing people away, right? That's not,
like I'm trying to throw them in the river or something. I'm not.
Right.
No.
We're not throwing people away. What we are doing is we're putting ourselves in a position to heal. That's what we got to do. And sometimes that requires us to separate ourselves very directly and succinctly. And that's okay. It doesn't make you immature. It doesn't mean that you're mean. It just means that you're doing what you got to do for you to move on. And that's it.
Do you remain connected with their family?
No.
Why?
Which one is it, Elisha? You said you want to.
No, but I'm saying
so why you can't go over to the cookout?
So you can't be the no. So if it's an invite from that person, I can't bypass you to go to your family. And if you're the one like Jen that says, listen, when we're done, I don't want you to breathe the same air that I breathe. If that's what it is, you can't go around Jen to get to her family and be like, I'm pulling up anyway. Like, I'm still your daughter. Like, you can't do that. It has to be, it has to come from this person. And that's the reason for these conversations, I believe. If you're having that walkaway conversation, that conversation is saying, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. We are no longer here. This is not your family. This is my family. This is what it is. Like, all of that is explained and established in this conversation. So once again, that I think that's a part of that whole ordeal is, this is situational in context. If it's two friends and their families are friends, how can you no longer be talking to their family? Y'all have known each other your whole lives.
Let me tell you, this whole family has broken up with you. Do
My
not
God.
call my mother. My father is going to ignore you. Okay? Please go on about your way. No, I'm not doing that. But some people, I ask that question because some people do, oh, that's just such and such, mama. See, look at that. You be
Jen, this is my question.
His mama is still my mother-in-law. I call her. You gonna call my mama sometimes.
Jen, this is my question. This is my question. You got a presiding prelate over a jurisdiction. That's your pops. You decide you're gonna talk to this elder in the jurisdiction. He works directly with the bishop. Now what happens? What is that?
So that's my next question. I think.
What does that relationship look like?
What you mean?
I'm saying, what does that now look like? It's the elder of the church and your pops is the bishop of the church. How does that relationship go after that?
I'm not Shonda.
I don't date in the church.
You be quiet. You be quiet.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but you know what though? This is what I will say, and this goes back to a question that I saw pop up in the comments where they said, what does doing it right look like? I've never really seen that. This is why that matters. Yeah. Because when you do have those conversations, this is why dating right matters. This is why ending things right matters. It's not that it saves you from the hurt, but when you honor them in the way that you separate yourself from them, you're going to reap what you sow. So if you did it dishonorably, you're going to sow dishonor. So especially if you're in these relationships where there are people who are connected to you and you're dating within the people that you're connected to, you don't ever want it said that you were dishonorable, that you didn't do things the right way, that you ended it in poor taste, because that's speaking to your character, and that's not something that you want. So I think that's why the way you end it does matter. It's not that it protects you from the hurt of that rejection, but it protects you from the dishonor that you would have sown and reaped. So I'm going to go with Jen and Shonda on this one, though. When it comes to that, like, there has to be this is just for me. I think there has to be some sort of clear separation that happens there, especially when you start talking about how close your families are. Now, I think Dana can speak to this from a different perspective because having
I am not, hold on, first of all, because I am not that mean, okay? First he said I was going to be slashing the man's tires. I am a woman of God, okay?
Where's Anthony at?
Anthony! You're not gonna keep coming for me, okay? I'm just saying. I have boundaries. And you not coming to the cookout. You can put your happy birthday.
He's leaving the state.
Sure, put it in the air, but maybe it'll get to me. Just leave me alone.
That's funny.
Anthony, she's leaving the country, doc. She now lives.
No, I'm not. No, but that was my next question. How do you handle that if you have a relationship in the church and it doesn't work out? I think in the jurisdiction is a little different because I don't got to see you all the time. You just not coming out to eat with us no more. Find some new friends. I'm so serious.
And that's why people leave church. I've seen people do that too. Like, because a relationship didn't work, they left the church. And they didn't just leave a church and go to another church because that was their church home. Like, they left the church. So that's the other thing that you have to be cautious.
But is that so? Were you here for me or were you here for God?
No, because the thing is, so this particular couple that I'm thinking of course, they came into the church at different times or whatever. They happened to start dating, okay, but then because things didn't go the way they want to, people get mad and leave church. Like, it's not like it's an unrealistic thing because people get mad and leave church for all number of reasons. So
then you're a fraud. You don't love God.
Not necessarily.
I made you walk away from the faith? Where was your faith in? Where is your hope is built where?
That's
It wasn't built on nothing less. I'll tell you that.
Because your hope should be built in me, baby. Your hope should be built on Christ, the solid rock. Okay? I don't know. I can't help you there because he needed a stronger foundation.
Can I ask this question?
Go ahead.
Because this was brought up from the comment that we read earlier from Miles, and there's been some conversation going on in the comments about it. Mm-hmm. So, ladies, would you date a man with a best friend who was a woman?
Yo, you can hear a pen drop right now.
I didn't say no. I'm just trying to give space.
Do I know her?
I have to think about that.
Does it? Okay, so does it matter?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would your answer be if you knew her?
So if I knew the girl, I knew her character, I knew she wasn't grimy, like I wouldn't really mind that. But you're not about to be on the phone kikiing all night with somebody who I don't know. Like I never tried her spirit. I don't know her personally. So no.
This is my question. When does that become a thing? How far in is that a requirement? Does that make sense? So like, is that after a week? Is that after a month? Is that after a year? Is that after you've come to a certain place? How far in your relationship with this man is that a requirement? As in, I don't really trust her. This is over. How far in do you think that's a safe requirement to make?
I think it's conditional for me. So I don't say no.
I wouldn't say no either.
I think the question becomes, can she be our friend? Like, what is that? First of all, what's y'all past like? So we're not gonna play games. Oh, that's my brother, and y'all done did some other stuff. Don't play with me, okay? I got the Holy Ghost. We're not gonna play those types of games. Now, if it's legitimately, because I know people who, like, I have legitimate best male friend who was a brother who is a brother that I never looked to him like that or whatever the case may be. I just think that could it be inclusive? Like, is it sneaky? I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. I have the issue when it's something else and you want to pretend like it's something else. Right. What you kicking for? You can't tell me. Like, tell me. I'm here. I'm in your face. What you talking about?
I want to laugh.
What's funny? Because he's not that funny. It's like, no. Why you laughing so much? I know he's not a comedian. I told him every day. Like, okay.
What you say, Jen?
That is hilarious.
I mean, I think.
Or I'm Dana. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just depends. It just depends. Oh my goodness, the principal is here.
Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Listen, I'm here. Let me tell you what I'm not here for. Number one, I'm not here to preach. I don't feel that anointing tonight. I'm not here to rebuke anybody. I haven't even been watching. Okay. What I am here for is to tell everybody in the comments. There are 150 people between YouTube and Facebook, give or take a few. Here's what I came on to say, and I promise you I'm going to give you the show back, but it looks like y'all are having a good time. I came on to say that I have been working very hard to get something together, and it is finally ready to go live. So I literally kicked the door down just to tell you all that when you're finished, in fact, I want the admins to put this up on the screen. When you're finished with this conversation, I want everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening, that wants to host better events. Here's what we've done. We have put together what we call Conference in a Click, which is the complete YLC. Listen to me. The complete YLC conference planning and hosting system. It is 70 plus pages of every email, every form, job descriptions, run of shows, timelines, all of the stuff that you need to increase your attendance, multiply your profits, and streamline your systems, it is available right now. I'll say I am so excited. I've been working very hard. I want everybody, here it is. Go to conferenceinaClick.com. Okay? Somebody put that up on the thing. ConferenceinaClick.com. I want y'all to finish this conversation, and there's no rush. Go as long as y'all want, but when you're done, I want you to go to conferenceinaClick.com, and I want you to check it out, and you probably want to get it while it's on sale, okay? All hearts and minds clear. Also, there'll be chicken available downstairs after chicken with white bread. It's going to be available downstairs in the festival. Remember, also, if you're going with us on the church road trip, we need you to sign up for the van. We need you to sign up for the van after service with Deacon Elisha. Sign up with Deacon Elisha or Deacon Lawrence. Well, somebody said earlier that he was real pastoral tonight. I don't know. Maybe he's Pastor Lawrence tonight. I don't know. I don't know.
It's been on something. It's something on him tonight.
Something's happening. But I want everybody. Dana put it up. When you're done, I want you to go. There you are. I see Elisha put it up. There we go. I see Elise put it up. There we go. When you're done, I want you to go check this out. I think this is going to bless you. All right. Amen.
Amen.
And I'm going to turn it back over into the hands of our master of ceremony. The choir's going to sing one more song, and then it's time for the word. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you, all.
We'll see you next time. Go to the website when we're done with this. Amen. Amen. God bless.
ConferenceinaClick.com.
ConferenceinaClick.com. Go ahead.
Why does the show feel done when he comes on? It feels like it's time to go home now.
The principal.
Listen, the man of God himself. We bless God for the man of God.
We do bless God. We love.
Pray God.
Pray God. Pray God. Pray God.
Pray God.
So Dana, we was on you.
Yeah, we didn't get your answer.
Oh Lord.
Are you cool with your female best friend?
Yeah, I don't think I would have a problem with it. And again, but here's my thing about best friends anyway. Like, I would have a problem if he has like a guy friend that's his best friend and they're too close. So you know, it's just about having like you guys were talking about, boundaries. But I wouldn't have a problem if my person had a best friend who was female.
Now I'll say this, and I may catch flack, but that's okay. How do we feel about that continuing post marriage? Because we're all single right now.
We're talking about marriage. That's
what we're talking about marriage. Just that.
I'm not talking about marriage.
See, hey, look. I knew that was a good question.
Dating,
I knew that was a good question. I knew it was a good question when I asked it.
What is it that you think they're doing with their best friend anyway?
No, I'm just asking the question. I'm just getting
married.
They're not going on dates with their best friend.
No. So
and ultimately, you end up becoming their best friend anyway. So I think their roles will shift because it's no longer that's your best friend. I'm your best friend. That's your good friend now.
See, that's where I was going. Is the fact that there has to be there's a change.
That's any best friend. That's male or female. That's male or female.
No, I agree. The dynamics don't change if it's a man with a woman best friend or a woman with a male best friend. No, I agree. That's why I was asking the question.
No, it changes for me.
Yeah,
it changes.
Yeah, it definitely.
She's not calling. She's not calling my house. She's not calling his phone after a certain time. No, ma'am.
So no girls are allowed to call him ever, never, no, never?
No, she can. I'm saying, I think when we're married, it's not just his friend. It becomes our friend. We're a unit. We became one flesh.
Okay.
Hey, girl.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah. Come on. You got what's happening? Oh, okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so what is it? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, what is it that's so differential between friends or best friend or whatever? Like, it's that's exclusively yours and
so
whatever. Like, is that what we're talking about?
I know when we're saying best friend, we're talking about the idea that I'm running to you to get advice. I'm running to you to get information. I'm running to you with my day, with what has happened, what's transpired. Like, I'm sharing my life on a day-to-day basis with you, in order to garner some kind of advice, counsel, whatever. And I just believe that after that is a union, I do think, not just think, I know that that's kind of relationship should be within this marriage. And I think I'm not going to. I think that there's an importance of counseling and those that are getting. I can't think of the word right now, but counseling is absolutely important. But when we're talking best friends after marriage, that's in house.
I think we just have definitions of what best friends are.
Well, I don't know. So here's another question: how many friends are considered a best friend?
Let's get too deep for me, dog.
But Elisha, you brought up something. Did I cut somebody off?
No, go ahead, Sean.
You brought up a good point about how like people with best friends, they go to their best friends to get information, to vent. And I don't want you to ever think that you're going to be married to me or dating me and venting to your female best friend about the things that we're experiencing. Like that's never going to happen. I don't know what you thought, but no, that's not how healthy relationships are fostered. Right. So you have a problem with somebody or whatever, you can talk to me about it. You can talk to your male best friends and get advice about it, but you're not about to go to another female and talk about, me and what I'm doing in our last argument, things of that nature. Absolutely not.
Right. Sitting up there talking to another woman about stuff that's happening in y'all's relationship. Like that's a no-go.
That leaves that door open. No, absolutely not.
And that's exactly it. It leaves that door open, and that's the part that I think a lot of us, like, we try to play it off like it ain't no big deal, right. But proximity, there's a strong thing that happens with people who are close to you, and when you open that space into like your life, into your heart, your emotions, you leave room. I mean, just call it what it is. You leave room for a slip up. You gonna leave room to let that person get or occupy a space in your heart that they were never supposed to occupy. If you need counsel, you got your male best friends, you got your pastor, you got your brothers at the church. Like, you have people who can help you as a man. Yeah. But yeah, no. And it's the same way, the other way around too, right? Like, I don't. That's never gonna fly for me. You ain't gonna have no man that you talking to about stuff that you got going on. You gonna talk to me if you need something. Talk to me if you need to talk to a man about certain things. I hope and pray that your father's still in your life. If not, maybe you could go to your pastor if he's a man, right? But what you will not do to some guy who you just call your best friend or your friend about that. No, that's not happening. And that's why I say I'm not for the whole opposite sex best friend thing, because people who are, at least for me, people who are qualified and classified as a best friend is somebody who I've allowed into that space into my life. They are in my circle. I go to them on, if not the daily, every other day. We're talking. We have something that we communicate with one another. I don't feel like I should have that level of proximity to another woman.
First of all, I don't even know if I can talk now. You got so passionate. I got really afraid that I don't even know. Like, can I have friends? Like,
yes,
I was like, is it okay for me? Because, Brian said something.
He did.
Needs to be put into perspective. I think that your friend who really knows your heart, who really is just your friend, will take the back seat, or they will understand the boundaries of your relationship, right? So while I'm very, I'm a little trendy when it comes to a lot of things, I'm very old school when it comes to, the male and female relationship. Like, when I was younger and a man called the house, he spoke to my father. When a woman called the house, she spoke to my mother. And then if she needed to transfer the call or transfer the information, then that's just how it went. But I think that if they're truly friends, we can all be friends. Like, you understand that there are boundaries in our house. You understand that there's a shift if we get married. So,
agree.
I mean, I'm not. I dated a woman who had a male best friend and he got pregnant.
He got pregnant.
You meant she got pregnant. I'm pretty sure that's what you meant. She got pregnant. That's what I'm talking about. That's why the Holy Ghost. You need the Holy Ghost. You need the Holy Ghost for everything. I know that, right? Like,
My God.
You out here wilding with these best friends.
But I don't think we should.
I think it's just because of what people's terminology of terms of friends are
Right.
too.
I
Because
agree.
even now, if I say, "Oh, I'll be your friend," like people will take that into a whole other context. So I guess it's just how you define friendship.
I agree.
And I must not have any best friends because there's nobody that I rely on like that exclusively for like every little thing like that. Like I have friends that are good friends and I have people that I consider a best friend, but not to the extent of like Bible says only a fool tells all his heart. So
Agree.
You guys are saying some great stuff, okay?
but nobody has gone to conference in a click yet. No,
what I don't think you guys are covering though is the fact that conference in a click is live right now.
Right.
He say, she say, best friend, good friend. That's good, but what I'm not getting enough of is I don't think that you guys have factored into this whole dynamic of male-female friendships. I don't think you guys are factoring that if there's going to be an event in the relationship, they don't need to host that event if they haven't downloaded Conference in a Click.
It's dope, guys. It is so dope.
You know, because what good is a best friend?
What good?
Male or female, huh? If they don't help you, go now. Conferenceandaclick.com. That's just what I wanted to say because this is such a touchy subject, you know. It's such a touchy issue with the male best friends and then the female best friends and then you talking to this one and then they telling their friends. And the problem is it's a communication issue, okay? And the communication is that they're not telling each other to go to conferenceandaclick.com. That's why we put the address at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, sir.
Because we need the male best friends, right, to tell the female best friends that they need to go get it now. Because if they don't, their conferences are not going to work. Okay?
Not gonna work.
Put that out there because it's a lot of. I know we're torn on the issue. I know we're torn. I haven't seen Shonda or Lawrence get that passionate. He was saying it with his chest. I had to sit up. I'm confused. But more importantly, conferenceandaclick.com.
Jesus Christ.
They're not your friend at all if they don't tell you what. Okay? To conference and not now. I want everybody to enjoy the rest of this conference. This is good. I'm on the edge of you can't even see me. I'm on the edge of my couch. That's where I'm at right now. I'm on the edge of my couch. I'm about to fall off. I'm sitting on the edge. But as soon as this ends, conferenceandaclick.com. It's live now. And that's just what I wanted to say on this particular issue. I'm gone. I'm not going to.
No, wait. Huh? Do you would you have a female best friend if you were married?
Would I have what now? You said, would I go to Conference on the Click? Yes, I would. Where would I go? I'd go now. Because the day you hear my voice, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Won't you let me in? Yes, I'll let you in. I'll let you in at conferenceandaclick.com. Okay?
Oh, so if she goes to conferenceandaclick.com, can she be your best friend when you're married?
I'm saying, say what now?
After she goes to conferenceandaclick.com,
right.
Can she be your best friend when you're married?
You said you wanted to go to conferenceandaclick.com now?
No. After the show. But then, can she be your best friend when you're married?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It's nuanced. It's layered. It's a lot.
If she buys it on sale or if she gets the full price.
It's a lot involved. You're right, Dana. That's, but personally for me, I'm just speaking for me. What I would say is before the price goes up, she should probably go to conference at www.http:// conferenceandaclick.com. That's just me though. I can't. That's for me in my house. If Shonda wants to have a male best friend, that's for her. If Dana wants to have a male best friend, if Elisha wants to have a female best friend, that's between them and their spouses. But for me and Lady Moore, elect Lady Moore, we're going to conferenceandaclick.com. Okay, so I just want to drop that in your spirit because I know it's a lot of back and forth about what we can do and all of that. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. Conferenceintheclick.com. That's the solution to the best friend thing. All right. God bless you all. And remember, all of the children that are going to be in Vacation Bible School, I need parents to sign them up. And if you're going to get baptized next Sunday, make sure you give your children a bath, because last time they left a ring around the pool. They left a ring around the pool, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. The janitor, Deacon threw his back out trying to clean that ring around the pool, and we can't have that because it's COVID out there. But also, Conference in the Click. Thanks, guys.
That's so funny.
Everyone's standing. Everyone's standing.
Right. But somebody said something in the comments that it sounded a little extreme, but I think it's very real. I think Joanna said it, that it could lead to emotional cheating, because I think I told y'all that I was an emotional cheater before, and I think it comes.
No, you missed that.
you just skipped. We never heard that. That was on one of your other lives.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
I didn't say that.
No.
Dig
in a little bit.
Okay, so what had happened was, what happens is, I think when you have, first let me say, 80-20 is a very real thing. Like, I feel like, while you may have someone that you really, really love, sometimes you may find yourself not getting that one little thing from that person. And if you're not careful, under the guise of friendship, could lead an emotional connection that it's wrong. If you're married, it would be an affair. It would be an emotional affair. I thought we talked about this.
Nope.
Maybe we didn't.
No.
So I found myself, I was talking to somebody. I was in a relationship with someone, and Lord help me. Well, I'll be telling all my business. After, we had gotten to a stale part in our relationship, and he would go to bed at like 9:30 or something like that. It was because we were just, we were working and stuff like that. And every night, please, am I safe here? Like, am I safe?
You're safe. You're safe.
Okay.
Yes, you're safe.
I feel like I need emotional comfort.
Anywhere you can go to comfort in a click, you're safe. Anywhere you can do that, it's a safe place.
And after he would go to sleep, I would call somebody else. And it started off very innocent. Like, it really wasn't like, because I'm not a cheater on purpose. And I've never cheated on anyone before. But I didn't know until after the fact that this was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So because I opened that door, and the other person knew that I was in a relationship, so it necessarily didn't start off as a thing. It was just like, oh, we're friends, what you doing? Oh, blah blah blah. And then it came to a point that when I was disappointed, I would call him, and he would say things like, well, if we were together, I would never do that to you. Or he would say,
is that a friend? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Is that a friend who would do that?
I don't know. I'm just telling my truth right now. I don't know. So
but that's what I'm saying. Because if I'm someone's friend, if Lawrence and Shonda are married, and Lawrence and I were best friends before, I'm going to do everything, every counsel out of my mouth, if he allows me to still be his friend, and Shonda still allows me to be their friend or whatever, is going to be, y'all need to work that out. Don't do that to that girl. You need to go talk to her. But it would never be, or it would be, you need to look at this from a different perspective. Is she really doing that, or are you just tripping right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. If I'm your friend, I'm not trying to tear up your relationship. If I'm your friend, I'm looking out for your best interest. If I'm your friend.
I know, but I just think, but I think you're right. I absolutely agree with that. But I don't think it started like that. I think it just opened a door, and that because of what I was missing,
right,
then it grew into something else. You know what I'm saying? So like when I would be crying, I mean, one time we had this big thing, and he was like, what? You mean you gonna keep taking that? And I was just like, but that's also keeping context. We were not married, right?
Sure.
But it still was wrong. It was wrong. If that was so, I don't know. I just see how having that extra comfort. He was definitely shooting his shot when I was disappointed.
But there's two things here for sure. You do have the friends that they understand their role with you, as in I'm here to push you into being the best that you can be from a friend's perspective, from a person that is simply looking out for your best interest. You do have that. But then you also do have those people that will disguise themselves as friends in order to find the right opportunity to shoot shots. And that's real. It's a very real thing on both the male side and the female side. And so while a legit friend would be giving that advice, it's like, look, so he's doing this. That's probably him trying to say this. That's real friend advice. That's the friend that you keep around. If it's the guy that's saying, listen, if it was me, I would probably get you some flowers right now. The truth of the matter is, if it was him, you would probably still have an issue. And so instead of him helping you to navigate through that situation, he's shooting a shot, and that's what he's been trying to do from the jump, from the get go.
Maybe I just can't.
That's not always true, though, bro.
I feel like
if I'm your friend and you're in a relationship, my advice should never be, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. If you're in a relationship and you said, this is where I am, I'm into this, I'm into even if anything, it should be what a man would do. It has to be, you can't make yourself synonymous with the better for this person. It has to be, this is how you should be treated. This is what should be going on. Even if you're treated bad, it can't be, I'm the one that would do it. Because I'm supposed to be your friend and you're in a relationship. And so you are treading all kinds of boundaries in that moment. And that's the situation today. If that's the person you're like, you know what, I'm gonna just deal with this person, you're gonna find yourself in a whole other situation tomorrow. That's not safe. That's not
what we can't do though. Here's the impossible thing, right? You can't control how someone else receives what you say. So just because I may have said exactly what you just said to say doesn't mean that the person who I'm saying it to isn't receiving it as that's what they would be doing. Therefore, this is someone who could be a potential person for me, even though that was supposed to just be a friend. That's why I say that it's very, very dangerous to classify someone of the opposite sex who you could potentially be physically, aesthetically attracted to, and beyond that, even emotionally attracted to, into these kinds of conversations.
I didn't know all that was in the definition.
I'm gonna tell you where that's
No. I'm not saying all of that is in the definition, but what I am saying is that proximity breeds that. When you're close to people, right? Like, y'all know what that's like. You're close to somebody, when you first see them, you're not really that attracted to them. You stick around long enough, you start to find things to like about them, right? That's just how we work.
Yeah.
But it didn't start off that way. I didn't start out an emotional cheater. Like, I was in a committed situation. So I'm just saying how the doors could be open and how seeds can be planted. Because it was also another time, Lord Jesus, that I was about to go to a conference, and somebody else was like, "Oh,
was it conference in a clique?
Was it conference in a clique?"
Yes.
So it's gonna be conference in a clique now, because we take those people. Before, this was the AIM conference, and somebody was like, he was like, "Oh, I want to put money in your account. Your boyfriend put money in your account before you go?" I was like, it's some seeds. I was like, he didn't put no money in my account. Like, so I'm just saying that we have to be, but it didn't start off that way. So I'm saying along the lines of what Lawrence was saying, that you could genuinely be in a place, but we cannot underestimate the enemy, especially since we know that he hates all things godly. So that's all I'm saying. And just showing you my trash and my emotional cheating and how the Lord saved me, that I know moving forward in my marriage, I couldn't be able to do something like that, because I do know, like, the enemy's not going to come in the door that you think he's going to come in. So if you have these safe places outside of me, then you won't be thinking like, this person wants me, or this person will jeopardize my marriage. It starts out with seeds. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I believe that there's a safety in counsel, and that godly counsel, when it comes to things of as sacred as your marriage, then it should be something that, let's probably not talk about this, and let's probably all be friends, because I don't want it to even look like we have something else, you know what I mean, happening that isn't, because I mean, we spiritual, but we all wrapped in this flesh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that's such a great point, Jen, because like you said, like even if the first guy's intention wasn't to say like, oh, like I can do you better than your man can, basically, right? I think that because sometimes when we're in those emotionally vulnerable
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. We don't do nothing.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was paraphrasing.
We don't paraphrase it, homies. What we do, however, is we do go on our browser, Safari, Chrome,
My God,
Matter, Mac,
Firefox.
Sam, Firefox. What we do, what the good doctor was trying to say, is that what we do over here is we go to conferenceandaclick.com.
Yeah.
And you don't get into that competition about, did he put money in your account? Did he not put money in your account? The question is, did he create an account at conferenceandaclick.com? That's what the doctor was trying to say. It's not about whose man is going to do what, other than whose man is going to help you download Conference and a Click. Now, it's available at conferenceandaclick.com. Doctor, isn't that what you was trying to say?
I think that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure the Saints heard you clearly. Shout out to Elder Thomas in the comments. I know he had to work. He's on assignment tonight. If you're free, I want you to come on in the room, Pastor Cody, if you're available. I know you're working, but if you're off, I don't know what the timeline is for your ministry assignment. I want you to come on in, because when you get here, I need you to tell them that they need to go to conferenceandaclick.com, because I want to say it, but I don't know how to communicate it, because the website is live now, right? We've been working on it very hard for a long time, and I don't really know how to get the word out. So I'm just trying to think of creative ideas on how I could get a group of people together, like in one place at one time, and then it's like broadcast the message of Conference and a Click. I'm racking my brain trying to come up with creative ways, and I'm stuck. But y'all pray for me. But I did want to weigh in though on this whole relationship piece, because you guys are really, really, really making some great points. And so, Jen, in one of the 4,000 emotional infidelity situations you're gonna tell us about, I'm trying to figure out how many. We got it. We got it. Okay. I want you to be free. I want you to be free. Okay. Because it's not, if you're not married, you can talk to more than one person, Jennifer. Somebody can ask you if you got money in your account. That's not a crime. I want you to lift that. Look at me, Jen. I want you to lift that.
No, it's not a crime if you're in a relationship. You don't.
No. Somebody can ask you if you got money for this trip. That's not. You didn't do something wrong. People can ask you anything. You, Jennifer, you didn't ask him on your account.
I did it.
So why are you feeling guilty and looking shame? Anybody, you can be married and somebody can ask you if you got money in your account. That doesn't make you a bad person.
Bishop has to come back, because this is, I don't know. No.
That doesn't make you a bad person because somebody asked you a question. Dana, you've been married. How many times did you have your ring on and somebody walk up to you at a gas station or whatever and say whatever? That's not your fault.
Right.
Yeah, Jennifer, be free. And while you're free, you're also free to go to conferenceandaclick.com.
Now I'm shaking.
Let that go. It's not your fault. You out here.
It
is attractive. It's not your fault that people want to put money in your account. Put your Cash App up in the comments. Bless you.
That makes me feel dirty. No, what about
How does it make you feel dirty? It's called sowing seeds.
You're making me feel shame.
No.
I'm telling you, don't be ashamed. You can't be ashamed that somebody asks you, you got money for this trip? That's a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. That's good. You wasn't switching in front of them, were you? You didn't drop your songbook real slow or something. Well, okay then, be free. No, there's therefore now no condemnation, Jennifer. There is, however, conferenceandaclick.com. Okay? Therefore, now no condemnation. Therefore, there is conferenceandaclick.com. So y'all stop being guilty that people want to approach you. There's no shame in that.
So there isn't any shame in that, but there is shame when you are not truthful to your partner. So the fact
You
that I
told a
let,
story?
huh?
So you told a story? He asked you, did somebody ask you to get money in your account? And you said no?
No.
So then what were you not truthful about?
Because now, let's be honest, when there are secrets, then things can happen. So it creates a bond there that shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. It's not that he asked me that I have money, but he was referencing like he's not good enough. Like I'm taking care of you.
Was
I'm
that
putting
your
money in your account.
husband that he was talking about?
No.
No. So
You
then,
still, if you're dating, you don't want no another dude undermining you as their boyfriend.
That's what I'm
I'm not going to
saying.
be mind. Let's start there. Number two. Are we still live? We're still live. It's been
Yes,
2 hours.
we're very much still live.
Okay. Well, look, come on. All right. Look, that's not going to happen. Let's start there. Number two. The purpose. Listen, let me explain this. Until somebody puts a ring on your finger, y'all can be talking, y'all can be boyfriend, girlfriend, but until the down payment has been made, anybody can approach. And I'm not talking about anything being disrespectful or out of order or, not being sinful, in all seriousness. But anybody can approach you, because guess what? My dad said this: you can say I don't all the way up until you say I do. And until you have a ring, you are still on the market. Somebody can say, I'm one day I'm gonna get with her one day. Until they do, you're still on the market. So
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I think we need to be respectful if you have made a commitment to someone else.
Unless I'm missing something, how were you disrespectful by
I'm not telling
letting
you my
somebody
business.
ask
I
you?
already said that I'm emotionally cheated. I confess. Okay.
Wait, hold on. So you took that money.
Yes, I took that money. We let it go.
Oh, okay. You're wrong. I thought she was saying somebody approached her and asked, did somebody put money in your account?
No, that's not what she's talking about.
Oh, so you took that money. Well, guess what? Guess what? You should use that money to go to compatibility.com, since God has made. Look, that's a testimony. That's what that is. Y'all don't see. The Bible says, in all thy ways acknowledge him. Give thanks. Not for all things, but in all things. What God did is he made a way for you because he's a provider. And so now you can go to conferenceandclick.com and look how God is so good to you. You don't even have to pay for it. Won't he raise up somebody? Won't he put a ram in the bush?
So when these people are out here cheating, we're sending them to you.
No, send them to conferenceandclick.com. What they can do is they can do a Broken Hearts conference. I see it now. Where do Broken Hearts go? 2021.
When the episode of Cheaters is in
right
YLCTV lobby, I'm gonna say,
horrible.
Hold on one second.
The fact that somebody is really going to do that conference.
Where do Broken Hearts go? 2021.
Broken Heart Conference.
Somebody's really going to do that.
Look.
As long as they use conference in a click, it'll be a success.
That's all I'm saying. Packed out. It's gonna be Broken Hearts everywhere. I like what Regina said. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just.
My God.
That's Bible. That's paperback.
That's paper. That's paper.
That's paperback Bible. So, in all seriousness, you're saying that you felt bad because you took money from a friend to help you support a trip?
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what I'm hearing, and that don't sound like.
I'm saying that a friend tried to sneak in the back door and create a bond with me when I was in a committed relationship.
So I can't send you some money if you got a boyfriend?
You're not sweet talking me, so it don't matter.
Well, here's my question. Are you saying
I'm not talking no more?
No, you're not here now. No. Are you saying that him asking about money was the sweet talk, or that was in addition to the
it's in addition to the sweet talk.
So
it's the showing up of the boyfriend kind of thing. Like, he's not good enough for you. I can take care of you.
That's what single people do.
Okay.
No, okay, let me tell y'all a story. I'm trying. Okay, I'm gonna try to edit this story right because this is literally the story of how I got here. Okay, both of my grandparents, let me see, because I was with my paternal grandmother not long ago, and she was telling me the story of how her and my grandfather got together, and to avoid butchering it and giving it, the right point. He was engaged to somebody else. Okay, thought that they were all in the church, saved, wasn't anything shady, but he had a fiance, and God had him shut that thing off because he couldn't get Willa off of his mind. Okay? What I'm saying is there was another. I'm gonna reduce it to its lowest common denominator. I wish my sister was in here because she knows what I'm talking about. Until you have a ring on.
I know the story too.
Until you have a ring on, anybody can approach you.
Yeah.
Period. Until you have a ring on, it does not make him a bad man to say, hey, I would be better for you than that person. That's what happens when you're still on the market. And I'm trying to figure out why are we pretending that that's not the case? If you don't want somebody to try to court or take something, then you make it your own. Is that not right? Okay, Jen is emotionally shook. I'm gonna talk to Dr. Sean. Doc, help me understand. If you are not married, if he has not put a ring on your finger, how is it inappropriate I'm not talking about the approaching you for nefarious purposes, but how is it inappropriate for somebody if you're not engaged, you're not married, you're not even in that whatever, how is it irresponsible or wrong for somebody to shoot their shot?
I feel like it's not. I don't know. I feel like that's a seed.
You're talking to the wrong person. Don't you try to
Okay, so I got a witness.
Listen, that's a seed. Somebody's trying to sow in your life, Jen. You can't be blocking that. Like, period.
Oh, no, okay. We're not going to do that. No, I will not be responsible. So we understand the concept that you are not you're not married until you're married. However, if you have made a commitment to someone and you are in a relationship building to something else, it is not right to entertain another person and you have made like that's your boyfriend, that's your girlfriend. That's not, I don't like that. That's not right.
You didn't ask him for the money though.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm still going to take the money. What I'm saying is that when you need to honor your, because my husband may be watching this, and I'm not subscribing to this, to what you're trying to do right now, because I'm not. Because he's not going to watch this and say, oh, so she doesn't know how to commit. No. So y'all do whatever y'all doing. I'm not.
I think what we're missing is everything else that Jen said. It wasn't that some guy just approached her to bless her about this trip. It was that they considered themselves to be friends. There was nothing else at first that they considered themselves to be other than friends. Now, this particular
married doesn't consider themselves friends first.
What do you say?
Who gets married that doesn't consider themselves friends first?
I'm sure there's some out there, but that's not the point, though. The point is that what she was saying is that there was an emotional connection that was made that was not intended. And the point is that when you leave space in these relationships outside of whomever it is that you're with, right, that leaves space for those unintended emotional connections.
Some of y'all are playing married before y'all get married. That's what I'm.
Now there's something.
That's what it's.
That's the thing.
Now there's something.
That some of y'all are acting like wives with no rings, no paper.
No, all of us aren't, but that is.
No, not some of that. Everybody.
But I
There's
think
a thing
that
there.
when you're in, if you have said, so what's the step before you're married? Wouldn't that be courtship? Wouldn't that be a relationship? You're saying that it's fair game when you're in a relationship?
Here's what I'm saying, because I want to clarify. I want to make sure no one's taking this the wrong way. What I'm saying is very clearly that everybody should go to conferenceandaclick.com And you need to download this tonight. I don't know how much more plain I can make it. I don't know how much clearer it can be. You know what I'm saying? It's if we would just do that, we wouldn't have no more issues. Peace on earth, good toward men. Now, in regard to this other thing that y'all talking about, what I think is it's unrealistic. That's what I'm gonna say. It's unrealistic to expect somebody who has no commitment. We can say we're in a relationship. That's great. Relationships are everywhere. That's fine. But if there's not a commitment, I'm going to marry you. Okay, now let's set it up clearly. I'm using you and me again, Jennifer. Jennifer,
you can't keep using me because my man might be watching. Go ahead.
If he's watching and if he's scared, then he's not what you need anyway. So let's deal with that. All right.
I do want to talk about that too, but go ahead. Maybe not.
So what I'm saying is, if we we've prayed about it, we feel that this is we belong in each other's future. All right. I tell you, Jennifer, I'm not in position right now to provide for you. I'm trying to get my credit right. I'm trying to, I got a lot of student loans. I'm trying to get everything together. Trying to get my living situation together. I'm a good man. I'm saved. I love the Lord. I'm working hard to build something. I'm telling you very clearly, my intention is to make you my wife. I'm not ready yet for strategic purposes, but I'm not talking to nobody else. It's not, I'm not ready because I'm emotionally not sure. I'm going to be with you, but because of the kind of man that I am, I want to make sure things are in order. If we're in that place, then I think that's one thing. But if we're dating, if we're, I like you, you like me, we're talking on the phone, that's two different levels of relationship. So my question
that is two different.
Are you saying? Okay, so we were gonna get married.
That's what she was saying.
In that case, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't even know who you are. Why are you here? This train is a contract. And speaking of which, we're all gonna hop on this train. And we're going to shoot you on over to conference in a clear. Amen?
Amen.
All mind clear? So in all seriousness, though, I think that's the distinction. I just don't want anybody to leave with this idea that because somebody, and this is not what Jennifer was saying at all, but I don't want somebody to say that because somebody like you, you now belong to them. That's a trap.
No, we weren't saying that at all.
No, we wasn't saying that at all.
Okay, I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone. Thank you.
Because you trying to shame me.
I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Dana. I didn't like your tone.
I didn't even do anything.
Okay. Well, you should change that, and you should do something. And that's something.
I went to conferenceandcook.com and I shared it with some of my friends. See?
All right, that's a good move. What else y'all talking about?
That's a good move.
What else are y'all talking about?
Talking about breakups. So like
about breakups.
But I need you to make sure that is clear though, because you just went through some muddy waters, and when the cheaters come, I'm going to send them to you. So please be sure that you're saying that dating, collecting data,
yes,
are fair game.
Yes,
you have made a commitment verbally to someone to.
Maybe I'll get in trouble. Maybe I'll get in trouble. I probably won't because it's my show. But I'm gonna say this: until you have a ring, you can change your mind.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're not married.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people end up in bad situations out of pride or I'm embarrassed. We didn't send out invitations. We didn't. No. If you're not sure, if you're not ready, then be smart about that. But no, there is a difference between the dating and the we're about to get married. That's a different thing. But I'm still gonna say it. I'm serious. I'm seriously gonna say it. Seriously gonna say it, Jennifer. I don't think you should feel bad for what you said. I don't think you should condemn yourself for that.
No, so I was just having a truth moment.
Did you have to do anything strange for the piece of change?
No, I don't do things for change. No, I don't do that.
Well, okay. And you used it to go to a church conference? That's ministry. That's ministry.
I was on assignment.
Oh my God.
That's ministry. So somebody funded your relationship with God.
No, but I think that if you really, you're such a clown. But I do think that if you are in a committed relationship and you have to hide things like that, my point into even bringing that up was saying how things could come through the back door if you're not careful. If we are on the track to, because it could be a distraction. It could be not just your up for fair game. It could be that this is my person. God said that we are for each other, and this person is coming to, be a distraction.
But how do you know that distraction is not your person?
Right.
He wasn't my person because
but the other person wasn't your person either.
He wasn't my person, but I didn't know at the time.
But why is there secrecy with best friends? That's what I'm not understanding.
That's what I'm saying. If it's a secret, then it's not just a friend. So that was my point in bringing it up. If I can't,
but how is it that we're equating like the best friend thing with secret things going on? Because that's something completely different. That's why I'm still having this problem with the whole, can they be best friends and all that other stuff.
The difference, though, Dana, is that at least if I'm hearing Jen correctly, what she was saying was that it didn't start off like that.
Yeah.
And that's where
but it ended up there.
I mean, is that what you're saying, Jen? I'm not getting that wrong, am I?
You're not.
So your guy, the guy you were with knew about your best friend and he was cool with that dynamic and stuff. Okay, then it did start off as a secret. That's where the problem is.
I'm shamed now, so I'm just going to start telling my business now because I'm shamed. I've been delivered. It's been years. Okay, it's been 5 years, 7 years. I thank God for deliverance. I'm in a place of, honesty. And
see, this is I get it now. It's this relationship that taught her how to pray like she prayed last week. This where she got that groan. We love you, God. Yo, got that right here. I love it.
I'm gonna leave now.
No, don't leave. Stay a while. Stay a while. Huh? Stay a while.
Wow.
Bask in his presence.
Stop this.
Bask in his presence. So let's do this. You all in the comments that are watching, why don't y'all weigh in? Jen, how can you make this a yes or no? Because I do think it's important that we at least get a consensus among the people. What do you all think in the comments about this situation? Jen, how can we make it a yes or no?
I think
I do at least know where they are, those that are watching.
Well, the original question is, do you agree with opposite sex being best friends while you're in a committed relationship? That was the initial question. My transparency came out. I was saying, because somebody in the comments said that's how emotional bonds started. Mm-hmm. I was just giving my truth to that point. So, but that was the question. Can you be best friends with the opposite sex when you're in a relationship?
Okay. Let's give them 30 seconds. 30 seconds in the comments. Yes or no? 30 seconds in the comments because we want to hear where you all are before we move on. Can you be best friends with the opposite sex when you're in a relationship? Your opinions. Yes or no? Go. Y'all got 30 seconds in the comments.
Mark, my bishop, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And I would just ask this. Because I actually seen situations just like the one you mentioned where it's a couple and a man come on and he's like, yo, like you're actually supposed to be mine, and I'm gonna go ahead and prove this, and we need to go ahead and get you up out of this because you're definitely mine, and that's definitely a thing. Do you cover your face? Do you mask yourself as a best friend in that moment, or are you to be intentionally? As in, like, look, I understand what you got going on, but I'm gonna let you know that ain't it. And
give me the context one more time. I was looking at all these yeses and nos.
No, just
I'm gonna let Tracy keep these yeses and nos flowing for me, Tracy. Say it one more time, Elisha.
Just the same context you were in is the it's a couple and the guy comes, he's like, well, first of all, you in the wrong place right now. You're really supposed to be with me. That's
you talking about like a different world when Dwayne walked down the aisle?
No, that like this is
now y'all love that.
This is fault.
But they were more than friends. That was the love of his life. Fault.
This is so like in retrospect to that, what does the approach look like? Because the approach, like from when she was saying it, that was a best friend. That approach is more of a poacher. That approach is more of, I'm looking for a weak moment to go ahead and attack my prey, more so than coming out and being intentional and saying, I'm the one for you. And whatever it is you got going on right now, that really ain't it. What does that approach, what is that supposed to look like?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the only answer for that is that they should go to competition. And they should get the product. Now, aside from that, I don't know. I think I'm thinking about this different.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on it. But I think that if a man of God, we're only talking in the context of folks that are saved and actually trying to please the Lord. So that changes a lot right there. I think that if a man of God looks at a woman who's not married, she might be talking to somebody, but she's not married, and he feels that she's for him, I think a man that's worth his salt is gonna shoot a shot. You done prayed about it. You thought about it. You taking time to get to know her. If she's not married, I think a man that's a man is gonna shoot his shot. If he feels that's what God has for him, if he feels that she's who God would have him to be with, I think he needs to shoot a shot. That's what I think. And that's not the conference host. That's not the creator of conferenceandaclick.com, which is available now. That's just me talking. If you're not married and he's prayed and feels that you're who God would have him to have, I think something wrong if he don't shoot his shot. I'm talking about a real man. Because I think a real man will come up. I'm going to use Jennifer again. Hey, listen, Jennifer, I know you have a situation, but I also know that you ain't got no ring. And
ooh, baby, I left. I'm here. Let's get married. I'm
okay. That's
get on my team because you know I'm a winner. Huh? No, so I think that's how grown up.
I like that.
Grown-ups.
Yeah,
we're grown-ups at this point. Listen, I want to make my intentions clear. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Yeah. I do not mean I would never put you in a compromising position, but I do want to let you know that in the event this situation don't work out, and I prayed about it, and God hears me, it's not going to work
out. God hears me.
In the event that it doesn't work out, I want you to know that I'm interested in you, and I would love to take you to dinner. I would love to get to know you better. You've been dating this little boy for how long? You got no ring yet? Okay, well, when you're ready to stop being a part of the singles ministry, and when you want to start going to the couples ministry meetings, I want you to give me a call. I'll be praying for you until then. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying.
Hey,
y'all don't like this revelation.
Hey,
my lip is quivering. I don't know.
Don't nobody like this revelation but Dr. Shonda. Does she know what I'm talking about?
Hey, listen. That's it. So that was my question. You definitely answered it. Is the fact that is the approach factor. It can't be. You can't be the little dude around the corner like I'm gonna wait for her to get in the situation, then I'm gonna show my.
No, that's soft. No,
I'm walking through the front door. No, yeah, no. That's what I was asking.
I'm gonna be honest now. I'm a little less politically correct than I normally would because I'm tired. In part because I've been up so late working on content.com. So I'm gonna ask y'all to just forgive my transparency. I'm asking y'all just to look beyond my faults and hear my heart. But I'm gonna be honest. No, I think that it should not be sneaky. Yeah. I think it should not be this. I'm playing a seed because you're playing a game at that point. But if you're serious,
and if he does it for you, he'll do it for somebody else. He'll be sneaky on somebody else.
Agreed.
Say it again.
I said, and if he's willing to come into a relationship with you that way, then he'll do that to somebody else.
So are you saying that as a good thing or a bad thing?
A bad thing, as in if I came to you through sneaky means, when I'm no longer satisfied with you, then I'm going to be going to try to sneak off to somebody else.
Exactly. I'm saying
justification as how I obtained you or obtained a relationship with you.
So I'm saying I'm not with the sneaky thing. I'm saying the direct approach. Again, in the context of everybody saved. Okay, let's keep that. That's the number one thing. I think that I don't think nothing's wrong with that.
That's a good question, Stacy.
Stacy, well, here's the question. I'm not talking about somebody that waited. I'm talking about, I just met you. We built a friendship. I didn't know you then. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about I'm playing a game. I'm saying if a man feels this is what God would have, this is the season to go after it, okay? Yeah. Time is winding up. No man knows the day or the hour. Y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me.
But you know what? That's cute. But I don't even know if we got direct brothers like that. Like,
yes, we do.
Oh, great. I mean,
Dana's got a testimony. Go ahead, Dana. Dana got a testimony. Go ahead, Dana.
3%.
Let's give her full screen. Let's give her full screen. Huh? Let's give her full screen.
Somebody actually did do that today.
Oh, today?
My God.
That's a fresh one.
A quick one.
Oh God.
He's doing a new thing.
Hilarious.
So what would explain the situation, Dana?
No, it was God, I hope. The question was, I've been meaning to ask you, would you consider dating me? And I was like, no.
But here's my question. Can you at least, now again, you don't have to like everybody that likes you, but can you at least appreciate the directness?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I told him that. I told him because he
Thank you.
Oh gosh.
That's all I'm saying.
Stop. Direct brothers are out there, Jen.
No, they're not. Let me tell you. So I was in my feelings, right? So I don't know how long.
She's like, I was in my feelings.
No, I was. This week my feelings was hurt because somebody told me. So this person tried to date me, and they did all the right stuff, and they kind of pulled back. So this week, he told me, he was like, I had to be honest with you. My insecurities wouldn't let me date you.
No.
And I was like,
no.
Oh, all right. But my feelings was hurt a little bit. Huh? What you say, Shonda?
He not it. Like,
that's
weak.
That's
weak.
Yeah,
we don't.
That's weak.
No.
And what I'm saying is it's a lot of weak brother. Okay, let me give y'all a story from the day. So maybe this is why my mind is where it is. I got a message today in my inbox that started off with, it was in the request folder, and it started off with, "Hey bro, I owe you an apology." So what is this? I open it. It's from a grown man who sent me a message telling me that he wanted to apologize because his ex was a fan of my ministry. She liked my preaching and came to my conference, and he blocked me. Now I don't even know who this lady is, right? Never had a conversation with her, but she was bragging on YLC to him. He got an attitude and blocked. We weren't even friends.
Wow.
Blocked me on social media, and he reached out a year or so later to apologize because he felt like, man, I'm sorry, I was intimidated and I was insecure, and I just want to apologize to you. What kind of weekity week?
Bro.
Wow.
But I love the
he
fact
was honest,
though. Huh?
Honest for what? Who cares?
Like, I don't know. Maybe he just was convicted. Like,
I didn't. Listen, no, context. I didn't know him. I didn't know her. I didn't know none of it.
That's crazy.
I just wanted to apologize because I was intimidated because you have a good conference, I guess, and so I blocked you. That's soft.
Super.
That's Charmin Ultra.
So this is my question. What does that solve?
What? Here's my thing. What do you want me to say?
He was trying to clear up his offense. He was trying to go deeper in the Lord. He was nothing.
No, what he should have done was go on the conference and the click got down. That's how you let the man God know you're sorry.
That's how you show true repentance.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm only highlighting that to say it's a lot of just immaturity out here.
Right,
And,
so you're proving my point in what I said, that there's not a whole lot of sharpshooters.
but that's my point. Because it's not a whole lot, I don't think that should be discouraged. I don't think that should be demonized if somebody is, again, respectful. I'm not talking about no sleazy stuff. If somebody is direct and respectful, I don't think that should be frowned upon because of what you said, Jim. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it did. It still hurt my feelings though, but yeah.
Well,
because I'm tired of being intimidating, and I don't be doing nothing intimidating. Like
it is a weird thing that people find
annoying. I don't even be doing nothing.
Right.
I don't do anything. But hey, I'm not here to rant. You know, I've been shamed enough. God bless y'all. Go ahead and wrap this up.
Oh my gosh.
You know, how I don't really know how we can wrap this up.
No, but I'm saying your question was
other than
that's why we appreciate the sharpshooters, because we don't, you know, I don't know where they at, but this whole I've been called an alpha female this week. I've been like just a lot of things that it's just like I don't even understand. What did I do? Should I just? I don't understand. But yeah. So why you Mr. Steal Your Girl?
That's not what I said.
No.
That is not what I said.
So I was giving you that tagline. Elise said that. So I was just
that's not what I said. What I said was go to conferenceintheclick.com. That's what I said. I didn't say none of that other stuff. I said that's what you
do. Adelia had a good thing. She said that probably was that girl on his page trying to be crazy.
What did Adelia say?
She said, better be careful. That could have been old girl. These people cray. The one that was in your inbox today talking about he's sorry.
Well, if she was, she didn't say her name, didn't give no context. That just weird. This is not going to get a response. This message is not going to get a response. This message.
And the link, conference in the click.
Yeah, that's a revelation. That's a revelation. What's the website again, Lawrence? I didn't hear you.
It's conferenceintheclick.com.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out.
Somebody, John said, "My great shooter misses a point, Chief." You heard me?
I don't know what that means.
Right.
He said every great shooter misses at some point. You don't shoot.
You just need to make the right shot. That's all. There is one shot that needs to go in. That's the person you're marrying. That's all that counts. It's the only shot that matters.
Listen, there's one shot though that if you take it right now, you can't miss.
What shot is that? What shot is that?
If you go to conference.click in
Lawrence, you got full screen. It's your show, Doc. You just got full screen.
To conferenceintheclick.com and you can't miss. Especially right now because it's on sale.
It's on sale.
Right.
That is true. That's
right.
You're walking in revelation and power tonight, Lawrence. I love it.
Let me be clear. So I'm not sad that
that's powerful.
Somebody called me intimidating, guys. I was just referencing the point that we need more shooters in the kingdom. So when the Lord sends new converts from sin and they have tattoos and they're on the security team, then that will probably be my husband, because with the thug clap.
Yes.
No, that's not what you want. Because the thug clap is gonna ask you if you got convention money. You're gonna be over the corner crying with no money. That's the thug clap gonna ask you.
Make money. He used to hustle. He know how to make money.
No, I know. That's why he's asking you if you need some. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's so funny.
This is hilarious.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Here's the other part too, though. Y'all say y'all want that, and then when a straight shooter do come up and shoot,
he's so pressed. He's so pressed.
He's abrasive. He's too forward, and like y'all do this whole bashful thing. You say you want it.
Who said that?
You must don't know me, dog.
Well, surely not you. Surely not.
Surely not. Surely not. That's hilarious. Wow.
Oh, man.
That is hilarious. I just want to say this though. This tonight has been an amazing show for real. I hope that someone's got a lot of content and information, but this has been dope. I've loved tonight and being on with you guys. Tonight was amazing.
Somebody said the straight shooters are ugly. But Shara, why would you do that? That is not nice. She said the straight shooters are ugly. You got a testimony.
Look at Dana. Look at Dana. Look at Dana.
You know whoever sent that message today is watching.
But Mark, you summed it up one time when you said, "Hey, purple shirt." Like the guy, like women, like we have to have everything all together before we even try to approach you. But guys, they don't care. Yeah. They think they got a shot.
That is kind of true. Men don't brothers don't care like that. Brother can be 300 pounds, get out the shower, look in the mirror, and I'm gonna kill him when I put my clothes on. Brothers don't care. No. Okay, and here's how you prove it. When was the last time, Shonda, Dana, and Jennifer, when was the last time an unattractive brother tried to talk to you? Every day of your life. Every day of your life.
People don't be trying to talk to me like that.
But those are the assertive ones, though. Like that's the confusing part to me. I just feel like God is really going to have to raise up a remnant of shooters because I can't do the side stuff. Like, no, you're not about to like a pick here, like a pick there, and then expect me to be able to catch on to the clues. Absolutely not. Like, just slide in the DM, do whatever you need to do.
That's what I'm saying. But see, y'all can't demonize that when it happens. Again, you got to keep making this caveat with the clarification that he's respectful, you know, with that being the cat, because disrespectful, that's a whole nother category, you know that.
Yeah.
But I'm calling forth the shooters. That's my assignment in this season. I say the north wind, and I say north wind blow. We look to the south wind, and we say south wind blow. Y'all don't hear me. I'm calling.
But the thing is,
the spirit of the shooter. Lift your hands. The spirit of the shooter is getting ready to be activated again. But see, you got to be willing to get shot, Jennifer. That's what God wants you to understand.
So here's the thing. No. So let's go deeper. The thing is, some of them they shoot, but then when they realize what they've gotten themselves into, it's almost like they backpedal. Because the same person who said that their insecurities wouldn't let them date me is the same person who flew out here that didn't know me to take me on a date. So you'll shoot, but I think.
Oh, hold on, wait! You giving more to this story? Hold on, you gotta unpack that. You gotta unpack that, woman of God.
I can't. I'm just telling so much. I'll have to stop sharing.
You're spilling all the things tonight, Jen.
You gotta tell this.
What?
You explain this. What happened now?
You gotta say something for the singles basketball.
He doesn't live where I live. He came and said, you know what, I really want to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. We had a incredible, couple days. I slept in my own house. Amen. Holiness.
We know that.
You're not about to play with me. And afterwards, like, he started kind of backpedaling. So I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. Life happens. So then this week he was like, yeah, I'm just, and if he's watching this, I'm not shading you. I'm just telling my truth.
No, we love you, man of God. Go ahead.
So he was like, if I'm honest, you have a little bit more star power than I actually thought that you had, and my insecurities wouldn't let me date you. He was like, because I can't be some of these celebrity couples, and the wife, but you never see the husband. I'm like, well, what you
give
talking
that
about?
man an award?
Right.
Now, release him. Let him go.
No, he's gone.
Give him an award, because at least he was man enough to be honest. You would outshine me. Let me tell you something.
But I don't even be doing nothing. Shouldn't I motivate you to get your shine?
What you mean you don't be doing nothing? You showing
person, you don't have to do that. For the right person, they're gonna shine alongside you, and y'all gonna shine like a big old beacon.
Girl, you a prize. You hear me?
No, I got that part. But what I'm saying is, why would you shy back? That's what I'm saying. Like,
because,
so for instance, go ahead.
The reason he would shy back is because, and I not even been funny, shout out to him for being honest enough to say, hey, this is where I am. The reason he was shot back is because he does not just see, Jennifer, using you, what you're doing. He sees what you're about to do. And he's at least honest enough to say, hey, I can't compete with that. And some people, women, are not wired to be able to go out in public, and you got 30 people coming up to you. Oh my God, Jen, can I take a picture with you? Oh, I was at your conference. Oh my God, you blessed me. And he's sitting there holding your coat. Some men are not built for that. And again, it goes both ways. There are some women that wouldn't be able to handle, oh my God, Lawrence, I read your book.
Yeah.
I like your black t-shirt.
Yeah.
You set me free when you did that class that one time. There's some people that can't handle that.
Right.
And so I think that what he was saying was, you're a rock star, and I want to be the star in my production. Listen, my dad told me this. In any relationship, somebody got to be the picture, and somebody got to be the frame.
Wow.
Somebody got to be on display, and somebody has to be in the support role. Now, here's what he said. Don't miss this part. The roles change depending on the setting, depending on the environment, depending on the day. There are some places when we go, there's some places I'm very much gonna be the picture, and you're gonna be my friend, support me, hold me up, right? There are other places though, if this is a functioning, healthy relationship where I'm your armor bearer.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm there. We here because you getting another award tonight. I'm the escort. They not here taking pictures of me. They taking pictures of you because I'm not. You're not. Oh my God, that's Smart Moore's wife. Oh my God, look at her. No, in this setting, I'm. Oh, that's her husband. Okay, good. Tell them to move so we can get pictures of her. Because in this setting, I'm the frame. So what he was saying was he don't have frame. He can't do that. He doesn't have that in him. And that doesn't necessarily make him a bad person, but it would make you miserable if you forced yourself to say, well, I'm going to dumb down. And I'm and of course, you're not going to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of people will.
People will, yeah.
And
but I think I got frustrated because it's like, well, why wouldn't you think that I wouldn't be the same? You know what I mean? Like,
you can't be frustrated about what someone else thinks about them.
No, I mean it was an honest moment, so you take it. But I think for me, and I think for a lot of women like me, like I get tired of being called intimidated. I don't be doing nothing intimidating. I'm just living my life, and I want you to live your life.
Something. No, let me stop you.
I will help you.
No, you are doing something intimidating. Being you is intimidating.
So clearly,
that's what I'm saying. Look at Sean. Okay, we'll get over you. Sean out here with degrees and apps. Yeah. Do y'all know she was on with Claudia Jordan recently? Did y'all know that? I tried to be her armor bearer, and let me just talk to Claudia. Let me just go live. Like I'll let her email me, and I'll email on your behalf. She's out here doing things. Got an app all in the hedges and the highways, just all over the place. Just touching the nations.
My God.
Which nation? It doesn't matter. Just the nations. If somebody is weak, he gonna look at that and say, I ain't got no app.
Yep. That's it.
I don't know Claudia.
That's it.
Right? So that's how that goes. You are intimidating by existing.
Yeah.
That's just the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. You are intimidating because you're there, because you're doing what you do.
Yeah.
No, I get it, but it's just annoying. I don't not understand that. It's just annoying. So I'm just asking, like you call for the sharpshooters to come on. I'm just saying, we need a new wave because whatever's happening, whatever's in the water right now isn't working for me. So I mean, that's all I was saying.
Yeah. I feel you. I think the shooters are gonna come when they go to conferencing and things like that. That's where the shooters are. I just went and checked. Hold on.
My God.
Yep, that's where they are. I just looked into it myself. So,
my goodness.
You're intimidating by it simply existing. Your existence is intimidating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, your existence is intimidating. That's so dope, Dr. Sean.
He was in Forbes.
He was in Forbes. She wasn't.
She was in
And
Forbes this
Is that a
week too.
French spelling?
she wasn't Forbes, but more importantly, she was on with Claudia Jordan. And I think,
Oh my gosh.
I think
Man
we
of
need to do
God.
it.
Bring it
What?
in.
That's an honor.
Bring it in, man of God.
That's an honor. What? I'm giving my sister her flowers while she can smell. Huh? She's out here. Things are happening. She was on with Claudia. Have you seen Claudia's resume? I have. I Googled it. And when I Googled it, what came up was conferenceandaclick.com. But that's enough of that. So I love y'all. I think that the sharpshooters will come.
I hope so.
Trudy's been very active in these comments.
Very active.
I like Trudy.
She said, my husband was always my biggest supporter and cheerleader, and he was a sharpshooter. Believe God. Thank you for weighing in, Trudy.
Love it.
Thank you. John said, Jennifer, it's rare to have sharpshooters.
I know, John. I need you to go get them. Can you find
Fanny
them?
said, you can't apologize for who God has made you to be.
That's it.
I get it. I thank you guys for this counseling session tonight.
Friends and a
You know,
click.
it's blessed my heart. I went from shame to encourage to
Don't be shamed.
No.
That's the lesson for tonight. I don't want you to be shamed because what somebody did was they invested in your ministry. So I want you to stop beating yourself up because you have a ministry mind. Okay? That's what I want you to do.
You are insane.
My God.
Okay. Chanel, are y'all gonna change the name of the team? That's all I want to know. That's all I want. I want to know, Chanel.
Oh,
I want to know. That's what I want to know. God is good. All right, Jennifer, close us out. We've been on here long enough.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining.
There. Go ahead and dismissal. We've tarried here long enough.
So make sure you go to conferenceandaclick.com. We also want to make sure that you are watching Spirit and Truth tomorrow.
Yes.
At 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't watched Sunday's message, please go ahead and watch that. It was a very it was a charge. Like, it was very powerful. So make sure you go ahead and watch that before you watch tomorrow's new episode. Make sure you go to conferenceandaclick.com. Yes. You guys know that we're here every Wednesday. We also, while he is clowning today, we thank God for our visionary and founder.
Bless you, family. Bless you.
For
God
giving
bless you tonight. God bless you.
This honest space to apparently tell all my business. And
this is great for the views. Just putting that out there. This is great. Jennifer is the goose that lays the golden eggs.
My God.
We're gonna rename the whole show. Story Time with Jennifer. Jennifer Quinn. She's David Ruffin, and y'all are the, what's your name? Exactly.
No. Dana be telling her business a little bit too.
Nah, Dana's slicker with it. She tell other people business. She'll never say nothing about what she do. She tell somebody came up to me and said, somebody approached me and said, she's slicker with it. Y'all, she giving you that seasoned wisdom. That's what she's doing. She's trying to educate you all.
Lawrence told us emphatically no that his wife will never have a male best friend.
He scared me a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I had to sit up straight.
I thought he was coming through the screen, but we bless God.
He said it with his chest.
So, but thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next Wednesday for another episode of He Say, She Say Chat. We thank you so much for sharing, engaging, liking, and being a part of the conversation. Let's also try something different. If you have something that you want us to discuss on the singles chat, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. You could hit our inbox and one of our social media team will get it to us so that we can talk about the things that are on your heart concerning all things godly singleness. Tonight we talked about what? John, you want to fight? We can fight. You must be new here, okay?
Well, let me help you out, John. Let me help you out, John. I don't know if you've ever been to Jennifer Trotter's page, but Jennifer got shooters. I'm not just talking about the ones that'll shoot your shot. Jennifer got a loyal fan base. Jennifer got a beehive. It's the J.
I have friends.
Jennifer got a J Hive.
I love you,
That's a fact.
They love some Jennifer Trotter. You gonna come up missing.
He said,
That's a
Jennifer
fact.
be trying. Do you want to?
You gonna come up missing. We're gonna put you on a t-shirt.
John
We
Faulkner.
miss John. No,
We miss John.
Between him and Anthony, they really trying to make me a thug. I'm sanctified. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I am saved, okay?
Oh,
But we
God.
gotta go. So we'll see y'all next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Oh, and before we leave, make sure that when you exit out of here, you go to conferenceandaclick.com. And we're not joking, you guys. It is. I have actually seen it. It's an amazing project, and you need it as a resource. We're still quarantined. Most of us are still.
They don't hear you. Speak freely, woman of God. They don't hear you.
Oh my gosh.
This
While we're still in the
work.
house, no better time to go ahead and plan whatever the Lord has for you to do. And you can use conferenceandaclick.com as a resource. So can you get me out of here? Because my hair isn't done. Next Wednesday, I'll have new hair. I'm just saying, you know, up close, you can see all the imperfections. So next week, I'll have new hair. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, boss. Anything else? All hearts and minds clear.
Why don't you just lean over? Yes, sir.
Josh, I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Not tomorrow, but on Sunday. On Sunday.
Save something. If y'all want something specifically for us to talk about, send it to one of us on our pages. And know that we love you guys. We're praying for y'all, and we will see y'all next time. Take care, y'all.